Hello, guys, and welcome to the Stardom Cast, your weekly audio source of all things world wondering stardom. I'm your host, Rob Goodwin. I'm joined as ever by the dapper Mr. Matt Turner. Matt Turner, how are you, good sir?
Really good, my man. Another beautiful day in northeastern Pennsylvania. Cannot complain. A lot of great wrestling, my friend. A lot of
Mm.
great wrestling. I was just mentioning it to somebody the other day that we went from WrestleMania to Joshi Mania to Golden Week. So it's been a lot of great wrestling. Obviously, on the Stardom side, we're waiting for the Marigold shows to pop up over there on Wrestle Universe so we can cover their 84 shows. Then, of course, we have the Tokyo Joshi Pro show and the marvelous show. See what I did there on
Mm-hmm.
Monday and Tuesday. And this weekend, buddy, Backlash, aka Io versus Asuka. So that'll be on.
Backlash.
Yes, look, Backlash, Tampa, baby. So man,
That's
I'm
one of
good.
it.
I can't complain. How's things on your neck of the woods? How's the soccer slash football game going? Did you play? Did you get injured? Did you form anybody in the throat? We need the update, buddy. We need the violent update here, my friend.
It doesn't bode well when you're leading with not "Did you win?" It's more "Did you get hurt?"
I'm concerned. It's
Which
the dad gene kicking in. It's the
it,
dad gene
I
kicking
think
in.
it's just because I'm getting older, mate. To be perfectly honest, no, we the season's finished. We're done. So not until probably August time will we kick in again. And we not only got relegated, but got relegated spectacularly. We ended up with 3 points over the entirety of the year. We won one game, drew none, lost many. So
Like our prediction scores, it sounds like.
absolutely. We'll be talking about those marvelous pay-per-view predictions for those of you that entered. It was not a happy time for those of us in the World of Joshi Predictions League, but we will bounce back because we've got Queen's Dynasty coming up, which we'll be talking about later. But no, all is golden in my life, Matt Turner, because of
Ooh.
course we are coming off the back of a Stardom Golden Week. And I don't know about you, whenever Golden Week has happened before, it's always been the podcast where it's like, oh my God, how am I going to watch all of this? How am I going to keep up with all of this? And how are we going to podcast about it without it being a 3-act Valkyrie rock opera? And I don't know why I feel like this year, I don't know whether they've just spaced the shows. I don't feel like there was as many shows, and that might just be me because I'm sure they ran 5 shows for Golden Week last year as well, and I'm pretty sure it was the exact same dates. It just felt less condensed this year, and I don't know if that's just me.
Remember the one year, this is before they had the VOD, where it's like we were waiting and waiting and
Oh,
waiting. We got
God,
something
yeah.
like 8 shows in like
That was
5 days.
2022. I
Yeah.
remember it very, very clearly. And we were waiting for shows and we'd podcasted and we got 3 shows up and 1 show was half up. And we were still waiting on 2 shows. And it was like, oh my God, how do we podcast with this? How do we do this? But thankfully, that is one thing about Stardom World. Now you aren't waiting long for the video on demand because I think 2 of these shows, I believe, were video on demand. Certainly, the first one. I think the third one as well. I think Kochi was video on demand as well. But you haven't got to wait long. I think Kochi was up in a matter of hours.
Yeah, like the most you got to wait is like 12 hours. It's really not long at all. So they do a really great job with that. And again, all the shows were great
Mm.
considering. Then again, obviously we're going to get into it, considering the fact that there's not a lot of substance on these shows. Considering again what we've seen on the other end with Marigold had a big championship match with Utami and Miko Ano. We saw
Mhm.
3 championship matches over on the Tokyo Joshi Pro side from Yes Wonderland, and a whole bunch of championship matches in the near murder in that main event of the Marvelous show,
Good Lord.
where I'm watching these Stardom shows and I'm like, there's really there's no big championship matches on here. You're just leading into it. But damn, Rob, this is the best wrestling in the world. It's still just unbelievable wrestling. How talented every one of these members of the roster are. I was even telling Amber the other day, like obviously you have your Izumis, your Hazukis, your Starlight Kids, Sai Kamatanis, like Matoy Hamabi and Kanai, Rianne. They're all just like, hey, don't forget about us over here because they were phenomenal. Sayaka Kurora is carrying herself well as a champion. Aya Sakura is just like, well, I'm rubbing shoulders with the champion, so I may as well kick ass, pun intended. So again, a lot of shows, but it's been a lot of great wrestling, or else we wouldn't watch it. Like there's only 24 hours a day. I'm not going to waste my time doing something that I don't like to do, like jamming my foot in the door. But I'm watch some good wrestling, my friend. And was some great professional wrestling around the horn, not only in Stardom, obviously a lot of Stardom, but just in Joshi and AEW, WWE. There's been a lot of really great professional wrestling, my friend.
There really has, and like you say, I don't want to say they a lot of the Stardom shows, with them being effectively tour shows or house shows, there was a lot that you can just say it was a good match. You're not going to miss anything if you don't seek it out. There were some really, really, really good matches. There was some movement, which obviously we're going to be talking about in terms of potential faction alliances. There was also matches made official for the upcoming Korakuen Hall show, which is on the 17th of May. We've also got 5, I believe, big matches now lined up for Queen's Dynasty as well, the next Stardom pay-per-view on the 23rd of May. And that's something else as well. I feel like coming out of All-Star Grand Queendom, a record-breaking All-Star Grand Queendom, and a record-breaking April, which we are going to be talking about a little bit later for Stardom, it feels like there is a direction for Stardom. It feels like there is a natural progression with things in terms of title pictures and stuff like that, which I think at points last year, even as good as the wrestling was, certainly between All-Star Grand Queendom and the lead up to the Dream Star, it felt a little bit like treading water in terms of, right, we're just going to sort of hold in place until we can kick into the start of the Dream Star and then we'll go again. Again, probably the Sapporo shows and Natsupoi's Challenge, I would say. But here we're straight in. We know exactly what we're doing. We have got some kick-ass matches in terms of Queen's Dynasty. We've obviously got some movement in terms of Bea Priestley and her challenge with Hannon. We've got some movement with Ann Kanai. We've got all of the belts, I believe, have either challenges or stuff set up, which is a rarity for Stardom. Like even the artist belts, even the MIA artist belts have got something. And the New Blood tag belts have been defended for only the second time in nearly 200 days. That happened on this show as well. So some really good things going on there. We're going to talk about all of that a little bit later on. Just to forewarn you, we're not going in detail on every single match, on every single show, because we're going through 5 shows today. And if we went through every match on 5 shows, I think the Kumamoto show had 7 matches. If we went through every match, this would be a 7-hour podcast. So what we've done instead is we're going to give you the quick results. We're going to give you the attendance notes, anything you need to know for the show. We will go through that still. What we'll do then is we will have 2 or 3 matches from each of the cards that we encourage you to check out. Not the important matches, but ones that we enjoyed particularly, or ones where there are story beats that happen. So we won't be going through every match.
There was a handful of people when I was leaving, I believe, the Tokyo Joshi Pro Show in Vegas, that when I left the actual part of the Palms into the casino, that they came up to me and they were like, we really like the show. We want the longer shows. 3 hours, good. 4 hours, okay. We want the longer shows. And then they noticed Amber was there. And then this one gentleman said, is there any way you can do a 5-hour show on just Tam Nakano? I'm like, I sure can.
Absolutely.
My wife said, why would you want any of that? Like 4 hours of these 2 goofs talking about wrestling and 5 hours of Tam. So that gentleman, I forget his name. I believe I gave him a sticker. If I didn't, please let me know. I'll mail you one, because that you absolutely do pop me. But yes, this won't be the 5. I could be, but it won't just be the 5-hour show. We apologize, but there are those 4 to 5 hour shows in the archive feed. And again, we do have, Rob, the 5-Star Grand Prix is coming up sooner than we think. So that the primer always seems to be like, get comfortable, folks. Get comfortable. Yes.
It's always one of our favorite episodes to do. It's probably my favorite episode of the year. That and the live All-Star Grand Queendom show we do are probably my 2 favorite shows. The Cinderella bracketology episode is easily my least favorite.
That's my favorite.
I feel like I age about 10 years every time we do. I'm not going to make it to the 2029 Cinderella tournaments. There's just going to be like a RIP in my little thumbnail.
We're just going to AI you. Yeah, at that point, you know what I mean? I'm just going to watch Terminator 2 and 3, Judgment Day, Rise of the Machines, and take off that. We're just going to AI Rob. But I do want to say, I always put you over all the time after our 5-Star Grand Prix preview. The homework Rob does, and we know we have new listeners all the time to the Stardom Cast, and welcome and thank you. But the homework Rob puts into that, especially if you watch on the YouTube feed with the slides, is unbelievable. I'm really taken aback by it. It's so good that I actually enjoyed that more than I enjoy Star Wars Episode 2. And you know how much I enjoy Star Wars Episode 2. But all
And we are
seriousness,
coming
brother.
off the back of May the 4th as well.
Yes,
So,
yeah, we are. May the 4th be with you, by the way. I hope you
my
enjoyed your Star Wars
Sakurai's
Day.
I did. My Sakurai's favorite day of the year, because I didn't realize how much of a fan she was of Star Wars. Till one of the listeners pointed it out to me. But yeah, so there is 4-hour episodes up there, and I will just point out as well that we are all of the videos on Patreon as well now. We don't do the audio on Patreon; we do the video because it still comes through as audio on the feed. So I thought, do you know what, put the video on there as well because there's so much nice video that we do. So I thought I'll throw it up on Patreon as well. So that's something you can check out as well. But with that being said, Mr. Turner, before we get into all of the stuff, including the winner of the World of Joshi Predictions League competition for the Marvelous 10th anniversary show, which again, I will point out, was not a good day for anybody, really. Tell the good people, Matt, how many predictions did you get right out of 16?
I got 2, and I got an email. I was just like, what is this? 2 out of 16. And I was like going through because myself and Andy Hedder, we did our predictions live on air, and that's what I used as my guide to go through. I said, I only got 2 right, and I was kind of going through it. I'm like, all right, I guess I did. All right, 2 out of 16. Reminded me of some of my my test scores when I was in right after my 21st birthday in college. 2 out of 16 was a was a common factor. Thank you, Yingling Lager and Jack Daniel's whiskey.
There you go. There you go. And like I said, the winner, who we will announce very shortly, did only get 7 out of 16. The fact that Nyla Rose and Nightshade won the tag titles completely threw everybody's prediction. And the fact that the main event went under 25 minutes also threw everyone. I think it was 12 seconds it went under. That threw everybody as well. But Matt Turner, before we get into all that, and a huge announcement from yourself as well, which I know you're dying to talk about. What, good sir, is coming up on the Patreon this week?
Rob, going alternate commentary. You want to talk about a hidden gem of a match? I go back to the summer of 2024. Yes, I relive one of the most hated days of my life at that point until I realized what would happen. We go back to the day that Saya Kamatani turned heel, but before she turned heel, and again, I apologize, was the best thing to happen in Stardom maybe ever. Before that, she had a phenomenal match for the High Speed Championship. Yes, remember when Saya Kamatani wore red and was High Speed Champion for a few months? She had a great match with May Sarah back at the Stardom World Rendezvous show. So I went back into the alternate commentary there. That was a fantastic match. Literally to the point I went and then watched their 5-star Grand Prix match from last year the next day. Kamatani and May Sarah, to the shock of nobody, they have really great chemistry. I'd like to see that maybe go somewhere, Rob, if Kamatani wins back the world title, which we all think eventually she should do. I would love to see that be a world championship match. But that's the alternate commentary. We go, again, summer 2024, high-speed championship on the line. Saya Kamatani defending against May Sarah. Just this past weekend, I also released part 2 of my review of Mayu Iwatani's run as IWGP Joshi champion. So we got the Utami matches in there, the Mina matches in there. We end with that great match with Sari back at All-Star Grand Queendom in 2024. And then you want to talk about a hidden gem of a match I only watched once until I did the homework. Mayu Iwatani taking on a little wrestler we know by the name of Stephanie Vaquer back at a New Japan show in Texas. I was like, I haven't seen this match since I first watched it, and what a great match. So that entire review, or part 2 of that review, there's 5 matches on there. That is on the feed. Part 3, which will be her last 4 matches, that should be on the feed hopefully by the end of the month. And then coming up this weekend, myself, Andy Hedder, with a text from you, Rob Goodwin. We did our roundtable discussion, the top 10 matches we want to see Utami Hayashishita in now that she is a freelancer. So we did some fantasy booking, some matches that we think will probably happen. And there's some matches that we do have similar, we all agreed on. Andy Zyke sent in a few matches of his own. And of course, me, you, and Andy Hedder, we all had the same number 1 answer. Pretty much the match everybody wants to see. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm figured you probably could figure that out.
I was just going to say, it's not going to take a lot of brain power to work that out. I can't imagine.
Yeah, Fuking in Death. But no, that'll be on your feed.
That was legitimately my number one
number
pick.
one. I was like, how am I reading this? But no, that'll be on your feed this weekend. And then more than likely, hopefully next weekend, I'll be doing my review of Victoria Yuzuki's run in last year's Dream Star Grand Prix for Marigold. I got about 3/4 of the homework done. I'm going to try to finish that homework this weekend. And then I'm actually away for a few days for work next week. So that's why I don't know if I'm going to get that up. I'm leaving Monday, but I'll be back Wednesday night. So I'll be available. I'll tell you live on air right now, Rob. Obviously, we'll talk off air. I'll be available Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for any recording that we need to do. But we'll figure it out. But the Yuzuki thing, hopefully in a week or so, that'll be on the feed. But all that other stuff is on there. Past, present, and future. So much great stuff. And Rob, coming back this summer, my rivalry reviews. We used to do the rivalry reviews.
We did.
Yeah, we did Mayu versus Shuri versus Utami, Mayu versus Io, Starlight Kid versus Azumi. And I believe, again, card subject to change, the rivalry I'm going to start with is Suri versus Chihiro Hashimoto. I think that's one that needs a little more spotlight on it just because it's not in the big Stardom bubble, has a big Stardom spotlight on it. Obviously, Suri and Chihiro Hashimoto have had a lot of great and violent matches. So that will probably be on your feed in the next month or so as well. So again, so much great stuff over there on the World of Joshi Patreon podcasting network.
Don't forget, patreon.com/World of Joshi, where you can get all of our episodes for as little as $1 ad free, as well as Matt has just gone through, an absolute heap of bonus content. But Matt Turner, I'm not going to keep you waiting any longer. Would you like to tell the lovely listeners of the Stardom Cast what you have been cooking for the past almost 9 months, isn't it? It'll be 9 months near enough. It's not pregnancy. I've just realized how that sounds. He's not pregnant, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what it is.
I am trying to fix my diet. I'll tell you that. I do have a problem with portion control and food. I have been doing so. But anywho, I've been doing a little more cardio. We're almost on beach season. But yeah, back sometime last year. I mean, it got announced today, earlier today as we're recording. As soon as it got announced, and I was like, oh, here we go. And then I had the waves of people, my personal friends calling me, texting me, and then fans of ours sending me messages. So I was like, okay, I better, I can't kayfabe this any longer, but I am going to be on this upcoming season's Dark Side of the Ring. So again, the episode dropped. The episode list dropped, and if you know anything about Samoa Joe and the Necro Butcher, that match happened because of a tag match with Necro Butcher and Madman Pondo versus me and my first tag partner, Anthony Franco. Anthony Franco, he graduated the Ring of Honor Dojo, class number 1, with me, and they put me and him in a tag team to start off the Chikara Tag World Grand Prix. I am man enough to admit that to say that I got my ass kicked would be putting it lightly. I legit got knocked out twice in the match. Yes, twice.
One match.
Yes, Anthony Franco, I believe, suffered a concussion. This was before we kind of knew how bad concussions were. So that match led to a match. For those who don't know, just quick background, I was trained at the Ring of Honor Dojo by CM Punk. Whenever Ring of Honor would have shows on the East Coast, that Samoa Joe would stay at Punk's place, and Samoa Joe would come into training on Mondays and help train us. So Samoa Joe did teach us quite a bit about pro wrestling. So again, after that beating from Necro Butcher and Madman Pondo, mostly by Necro Butcher, which by the way, Necro was so nice, got me so many bookings after that. Like, couldn't have been any nicer. Rob actually got to meet him at WrestleCon about 2 years ago. Yeah, he shook his hand and he shook his hand. He goes, that guy hit you in the head with those hands? I said, yeah, really fast.
I'm not joking. His hands are like tennis rackets. But Matt didn't bother telling me who he was at this point because he doesn't look anything like Necro.
Well, he had a hat on, he had glasses on.
Yeah, and so this enormous behemoth of a man with these bear-like claws is sort of, fawning over Matt. And as most people do, let's be honest. And then Matt pointed him out to me and he shook my hand. And honestly, my arm almost fell off. It was ridiculous. It was such a manly handshake. I was like, bloody hell, this guy's... And he was like, yeah, that's Necro. So, oh, right. Okay, he's a big dude. He's a very big dude.
Yeah, and again, a super nice guy. But anywho, so that that little interaction led to Joe versus Necro. If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. Just
It
type
is.
in Joe versus Necro. It's a very infamous match, and Dark Side of the Ring did want to do an episode on this, and myself and Anthony Franco got contacted. So it was, yeah, a handful of months ago that I was interviewed. I don't want to give away too much because I do want you to watch the episode.
Absolutely.
Myself and Anthony Franco were interviewed for the Dark Side of the Ring of Joe versus Necro. And I'm really glad they did their research because a lot of people, that match has been seen and talked about. And they do talk about it in commentary. I think Eddie Kingston, Dave Prazak, and CM Punk are on commentary. Boy, what a trio that is. On commentary, talking about how, like, this is how this match basically came about. And it's a very infamous match, but the people over at Vice and Dark Side of the Ring did some great research, reached out to me, was like, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, of course, absolutely. Try to get a hold of Anthony Franco, who I've not talked to in years. Funny enough, he lives like 10 minutes away from me. So finally they were able to track him down. I called him. It was great to rekindle with Anthony Franco, married, 2 kids, like just the greatest, coolest, nicest guy, just a really good dude. It just, he got married, had 2 kids, and like, all right, now I'm putting all my eggs into the family basket, which obviously I absolutely love. And they're just, you fall out of contact with somebody. So again, it was really cool that I'm going to be on Dark Side of the Ring talking about Joe and Necro, and really cool that I was able to rekindle a great friendship with my good friend and first tag partner one, Anthony Franco. So I do want to point out that when we were leaving the building after we did the interview, one of the guys took me aside. He's like, Anthony Franco, he's your best tag partner. He's your favorite tag partner you ever had, without batting an eye. It's like, no offense, it's Andy Header. So gotta put over. And hey, that's truthful. Obviously Andy Header's my boy. Me and Franco, though, we had some really, really good matches. And yeah, he's a great tag partner. And again, just really excited. I hope that you guys do tune in. I don't know how much of my stuff's going to air, because we were there for a few hours recording. So I know obviously I'm not the main focal point of the episode. Joe and Necro is, but they got a lot of.
You are 100% the main focal point.
No. They got a lot of really good information. So again, I don't know. I may be in there 2 minutes. I may be in there 20. I don't know. But to say it was an absolute joy and pleasure doing this interview would be an understatement. I mean, more than professional, super nice, super fun interview. So hope you guys all check it out, and I hope you enjoy Matt Turner's, the Stardom Cast own Matt Turner, on this season of Dark Side of the Ring, talking about Samoa Joe and the Necro Butcher.
Just out of interest, I know that the infamous match, Joe and Necro from IWA Mid-South, I know that is on YouTube because I've watched it many, many times. Just brutal. But is your match with Necro on YouTube?
No, actually, they I don't know. Again, I don't know if this is going to make air, but myself and Franco watched the match together, and I have not seen it in about 10 years. Like, yeah, even when I told Amber, I was like, this is what's happening. She looked for it. She couldn't find it anywhere. And I'm like, I don't know where to view it. Obviously, they have it's Vice TV. They're going to be able to find it, not unless they didn't get a DVD. They got a link through somewhere. But yeah, they did film me and Franco sitting on this couch watching this match. So yeah, again, it was really cool. I haven't seen it in quite some time. And I actually forgot until we were talking about it. I actually wrestled it at Ring of Honor in the afternoon, and then drove to Chikara to do this match. And I forgot that I was wrestling a match, and in Ring of Honor, I took a suplex wrong and landed on my foot. And like Gabe and Carrie and the doctor were like, you need to go to the hospital. There's no way that you can wrestle on that. I'm like, no, I got to do another show. I'll worry about it tomorrow. So I completely forgot about that until myself and Franco, we were talking about it. And then I went back and watched the match. You can see that I'm a man on one foot. And at the time, Rob, I'm 155 pounds, and I'm trying to go blow for blow with the Necro Butcher. Recipe for disaster, my friend. But I will say this: the next day, I wrestled again the next day on one foot and tapped out a bear that in the bear costume was Sami Zayn. So
there you go. You go.
Toughness, baby. Toughness.
Absolutely. So definitely check that out. They haven't announced the dates for each of the episodes. I think they've just announced that the first episode is going to be a 3-part series on TNA and Jeff Jarrett. And I believe it's starting in July.
July 7th, I think I saw.
Is it July 7th? Right.
Could be wrong, but I'm wrong quite a bit. I mean, look at my prediction score, but I think I might have that one.
Well, although, how good would it be if it aired in August and you were in the UK when it aired and we could watch it together?
Can you imagine? Yeah, because Amber did say, she
Do
goes,
it.
when do you think
Do a
this will
drunk
end?
watch along.
Oh, there we go. We can get one of those giant TVs and put it outside Wembley Stadium, and then
Oh,
we
there
can
you go.
do a Q&A afterwards.
There you go. I mean, I won't be able to answer anything because I wasn't there. But
No,
yeah, absolutely.
well, dude, you can MC it.
I could be a compare. Absolutely.
Oh, there's
There you
so
go.
much we can do.
Because people are absolutely going to Wembley for that and not the potential of Ospreay winning the title.
Well, that's a side dish, you know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah, absolutely. It's an
I
hors
like
d'oeuvre.
I can just eat my steak, but you know what? If I'm gonna have a baked potato, absolutely.
If
So
you
yeah,
can have another steak on top of that steak, why would you not have double steak?
steak on steak dinner with a little garlic butter
Steakception.
melt. Oh,
Absolutely.
little
Steak and
garlic butter melt.
steak.
Steak dinner with Matt Turner and Rob Goodwin. Frohausen, you see Frohausen graphics
I
lately?
did, yeah. They are getting really, really quite good. That one for Andy Hedder's best hair and costume, very impressive.
Yeah, they did one with the Twin Towers, like the actual Twin Towers, Bossman and Akeem.
Oh, I didn't see that. I need to see that.
He tagged me and you in something with you were Tarzan Goto. I was I think Onita, and we're with the Hayabusa. Like they superimpose our faces on it. He's the best.
Amazing. But yes, Dark Side of the Ring season 7 coming up in July. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for a certain Stardom cast host. Let's move on to some Stardom news then, and it dropped today. The next round of matches for the next Stardom pay-per-view, Queen's Dynasty, which is at the MVO Gymnasium in Aichi on the 23rd of May. We already knew that we were getting Sayaka Kurara and Maki Ito because that was set up in the backstage comments of the Dream Queendom show. We also knew that we were getting Hanan and B. Priestley for the Wonder Belt as well. Obviously, that was sort of telegraphed from B. Priestley turning on Hanan. But we've had 3 further matches announced. The Goddesses of Stardom titles are on the line. O2 Line will defend those belts against Fukuoka Double Crazy, Hazuki, and Koguma. I mean, that's worth the price of admission on its own. Future of Stardom champion, the most fightingest champion in all of Stardom, Rani Yagami, will defend the belt against Kikyo Furusawa. And I am a huge fan of this, Matt Turner. I love, and I think I've said this on the podcast before, I love when number 1 contendership matches are on pay-per-views. It makes the title feel bigger. So we have got, for the World of Stardom Championship, a number 1 contendership 4-way, Starlight Kid versus Natsuko Tora versus Maika versus Suzu Suzuki. Sayaka Kurara finding out that the journey might be difficult, but staying at the top is even more difficult because no matter who wins that, I mean, I think we all assume that Sayaka Kurara is retaining against Maki Ito, even though I love the idea that Cosmic Angels are the de facto heels in that feud with Maki Ito, which is brilliant, especially Ayasakura Natsupoi, who was absolutely rinsed throughout this Golden Week by Rian, and genuinely, she's brilliant. Rian is fantastic. But I think she will probably retain against Maki Ito. Any of those four, Starlight Kid, Suzu Suzuki, Natsuko Tora, or Maika, they pose a significant challenge to Sayaka Kurara. And again, I still can't believe that I'm saying this out loud. Sayaka Kurara as your World of Stardom champion. Seeing her with the World of Stardom championship in one hand and the New Blood Tag Team title in another. It's like, look, we talked about it ad nauseum on the live podcast, didn't we? About, you know, the match was phenomenal. It was so well paced, so great that Meltzer hasn't even bothered to rate it. Thanks, Dave.
I need to cut you off. I know people are upset about that. Follow us on @TalkJoshi 2025 on Twitter for all of your Joshi star ratings. Big Dave won't do it, but we will. Talk Joshi 2025 over on Twitter. I think I did over 20 some matches last week, buddy. It's a lot of Joshi.
Plug machine. Absolute plug machine. But it's still undecided as to what is going to happen once Sayaka Kurara gets into her role as champion. Attendances are absolutely fine for 4 sellouts in 5 shows over this Golden Week for Stardom. Still not quite used to seeing it yet, but it is early days, Matt.
Yeah, and, again, the Corkin show on the 17th is doing really well, and I think I mentioned it last week. I haven't checked in a few days, but this show, Queen's Dynasty, I think all but 2 or 3 sections are either sold out or nearing a sellout. So and they just announced a few matches not that long ago. So this show, coming up at the end of May is going to have a really big, pack of the punch, and that's probably gonna lead to that number 1 contenders match. My guess, Rob, is gonna be a Corkin or the Conversion. My guess that's where that championship match is gonna take
I'm
place.
sorry, I couldn't hear you then. What did you say? It could be Corrigan or where?
It's gonna be, Corkin Hall or The Conversion.
There
See,
you go.
button
There
hooked
you
you.
go.
I button hooked you. But you're absolutely right because now we got 4 title matches on this show and a number 1 contenders title match. And you mentioned the names Tor, former world champion, Micah, former world champion and the only wrestler in Stardom's history to win the 5-star Grand Prix while going undefeated. Suzu Suzuki, winner of the 2023 5-star Grand Prix, and Starlight Kid, maybe a top 10 wrestler in the world on most people's list. And it's coming off that great run as Wonder of Stardom champion and one of the most popular wrestlers in one of the biggest companies in the world in Stardom. So you can go anyone with that. The way I'm gonna kind of answer my own, I'm gonna ask you a question, I'm gonna answer my own question, throw it back at you. Like, obviously, we'll have our official predictions I think next week or the week after, which we'll probably do terrible on, as I'm sure you've seen.
It's
Yes,
part of the charm of this podcast. That's
I think
that's
so.
sort of the narrative I'm going to lean into, I think.
Like my accounting teacher in high school used to tell me, you got to be consistent. It's all about consistency, and we're consistent, Ron. We're
We are.
consistent. Yes, he's
We
now
are
the
certainly
mayor of
consistent.
my hometown of Old Fort, Pennsylvania. He was my lifting coach. Shout out, Mr. Leg, my hero. Anywho, you look at this 4-way, Robin. I think if Tora wins, I
Mhm.
think Sayaka retains because I see Tora where it's going to get too much of the interference, where it's going to be an accidental hate crate shot or she'll miss the mist or something. So like that I can believe. So I think if Tora wins this 4-way, I think Sayaka retains. But I think the way they may be leaning, and again, I could be way wrong, is that Micah wins, then Micah wins the title, and then we build towards Micah and Kamatani at Sumo Hall for Dream Kingdom, with Kamatani winning the 5-star or Starlight Kid. That's the way that I see it. But again, and then you can't throw out Suzu Suzuki as well. Suzu's been on an absolute tear. They're doing a great job getting the machine behind her and pushing her again. So I wouldn't count out Suzu Suzuki, but that's kind of the way that I see it right now. I'm leaning towards Tora with a successful title retained from Sayaka, or if it's Micah, I think then Micah then wins back the red belt. But let's say you, partner, what do you think? What's your quick prediction on that one?
I think Hannon retains for a start. I think that one's cut and dry.
Sure.
Hannon will retain. I imagine that we will build at some point to Hannon versus Rina. I imagine that will be the direction we go with that. I imagine O2 will retain. Ronnie Yagami will retain. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? This 4-way, because you've got 4 heavy hitters and 4 heavy hitters who are deservedly in that red ball picture. I'd love to see Suzu Suzuki in there again because I feel like sometimes she gets forgotten. I know that she had quite an inconsistent year in 2025, what with injury and illness and things like that. And every time she was seemingly just on the precipice of going on a tear, she'd pick up a niggling injury or something like that. But she had a really good 5-star, if you remember, really good.
Phenomenal, yeah.
Great match with Bozilla, great match with Sari. Yeah, some really, really good matches. So I'd love to see her in the title picture. I feel like we are leaning towards Tora. There's history between Sayaka Kurara and Tora. And obviously there's a lot more recent history between Cosmic Angels and Hate. It makes sense for a white meat babyface, especially early in her reign, to have a de facto heel challenger. And I think Tora fits that bill quite easily. Carrara has beaten Tora before in singles competition. It was part of a storyline, either last year or the year before, I think, on the way to Sayaka Carrara winning the Cinderella tournament. So it was last year. I don't think Starlight Kid wins simply because it's not long been her challenge for the red belt. Obviously, she challenged in February. I think it will probably be Tora. If I was a betting man, and obviously we'll know a little bit close to the show, because we have actually only got 2 shows until Queen's Dynasty. They're in Gummer on the 16th and Corrigan on the 17th. I imagine it will probably be Tora. And then again, I imagine that could well be your conversion main event.
Yeah, again, we'll see, my friend. That's going to be great. This show's absolutely loaded. Obviously, no Saya Kamatani as your red belt champion, no Starlight Kid as your Wonder champion. We're shaking things up. But again, we're going to get into it and talk about these shows. They did a great job getting you more hype for B Priestley versus Hanan. Like these two threw down. Like B has gotten right back into that heel role, and we knew
she's
when
never been away, isn't it?
Yeah, like we knew it's like she's having a good time. You can tell she's generally happy to be in Stars. And I'm hope I'm not breaking any kayfabe here, but I have friends of mine that have worked some independent shows with B Priestley, and they say that she's nothing but the nicest, most bubbliest person. And then it just seems like when the camera's turned on, it's like, we knew she was going to turn heel. Like, she's in Stars. Like, oh, it's cool. Like, Stars needs the help with FWC out and Mayu out. They were doing well considering the fact that everything that they lost over the last few years. So like, oh, B fits in there really well, but it's only a matter of time. Like, oh, there it is. And I know we made mention in our live review. I'm like, do they really need another person in the faction? But B has taken this Golden Week to like basically reintroduce herself. And boy howdy. I mean, she comes off as very like you will pay money to see Han and kick her ass. And that's the idea, folks. That's wrestling. B is doing her job. What a great heel. But as Roddy Piper always said, the people that seem to be the heels in camera happen to be the nicest people when the camera's not on them. And I guess B Priestley is fitting into that mold from what my friends have told me.
I mean, it's worth pointing out as well, we did say on the live review about, the heel turn itself, we don't necessarily mind. And it does make sense. It was a Konami thing. B actually officially never left Oedetai. She just came back and joined Stars. But also she's not a full-time member of the Stardom roster. She's sort of flitting between Japan and the UK. I mean, I know that she posted on her Instagram that she's on her way home either today or it was yesterday night. I can't remember exactly, but she was in Fukuoka Airport. So, she's not going to be around all the time. So it's not a case of overload, I suppose, in the Hate instance. It was the execution of the heel turn that I think we took issue with. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Hanan versus B is a good title defense, a first title defense for Hanan as champion. People, again, everyone is absolutely entitled to their opinion. I personally don't understand the hate that the Stardom to the World match between her and Saya Kamatani.
I love that match.
It's a really, really good match. It's certainly B's best match since she's been back in Stardom. I think she had some really good matches in the 5-star Grand Prix. But yeah, I know that match gets some hate. I really enjoy it. Again, I know there are some people that dislike it, but I really enjoy that match. So I think B's found that niche. Would I have liked the heel turn to make a little bit more sense? Well, the execution of it, sure, yes, I would. But again, the heel turn itself and joining hate, I don't necessarily mind. And what's one more member when you've got 483 members?
At that point, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Matt, you did mention Korakuen Hall. Stardom are running Korakuen Hall on the 17th of May. It is a normal Korakuen show, not a Naito show. Today, they've announced 2 title matches for that Korakuen Hall show. For the first time in what seems like forever, the Artist of Stardom championships will be defended. The current champions, Konami, Rina, and Fukigen Death. They will be defending the belts against Hanan, Momokogo, and Saya Ida. Whilst also on the card, we will have the high-speed championship match between Yuna Mizumori and Xena. Those are the only 2 matches currently announced for that Korakuen Hall show. But Matt Turner, I have every faith that both of them will deliver. Very, very excited for Yuna Mizumori and Xena. They've done some great pre-work for that match. And obviously we know what Xena can do in the high-speed setting. Had a great match with Mei Seira. I do predict that Yuna Mizumori will probably retain. But the Artist of Stardom championships are an interesting one because obviously we did the sort of half collapse of hate at All-Star Grand Queendom, lost the Wonder Belt, lost the World Belt, lost the Goddess belts. And the Artist belts are the only ones left. Now, logic would dictate that hate dropped the belts here to leave them with nothing. But weirdly, I don't see them dropping them at Korakuen. And I know that it was alluded to that whoever wins this match will be taking on God's Eye next. And I believe that's the team of Lady C, Amisori, and Hina. I see them taking the belts more than I see Stars taking the belts here.
Rob, when is this Korakuen show? Was it the 17th?
17th.
Okay, so we do have the 16th, technically up for us on the East Coast. We have Korakuen for Marigold, and then we got the Korakuen for Stardom. What a great time to be a Joshi fan, my friend. Just what a great time. Great weekend of professional wrestling. Yeah, I'm gonna still bet with my heart because Momo Kogo. When this was announced, people were tagging me and they're like, "This is it. This is new champs." It's like, and you have Wingori, one of the best tag teams in all of wrestling, especially the last few years, and Momo Kogo. And it's in Korakuen, where Momo Kogo is so over, and they love rooting for the dogs. We've seen over the past few years, like Rian getting over there, and Aya and Sayaka, like and Momo Kogo as well. Miyu Amasaki in that match when they were unsuccessful, her and Azumi against BMI 2000. Miyu was the most over person in Korakuen. They're going to have so many people behind Momo Kogo because it's the downfall here of hate. They lost all the belts at the biggest show in Stardom history, ticket wise, over 8,000 people. So now all's left is the artist belts. And I see your point because they already lined up God's Eye. Did they line up the members of God's Eye, or was it just kind of like it's going to be God's Eye?
I think it's Lady C, Amisori, and Hina.
They
set it up during Golden Week.
Yeah, and I know they said Tomoki Inaba and Shiri, they want to challenge next for the tag titles, by the way.
Yes, yeah. So there you go. In fact, let me just I'm just gonna have a quick look at my notes because I have made notes of it somewhere.
So not only do we have
Hina, Lady C, and Amisori. I mean, come on, man. It's Lady C. She's been done so dirty recently. Just imagine.
So, Rob, what we have on the horizon here is potentially a Momo Kogo championship or a Lady C and Hina championship. Now, I know Hina has held the future belt before, but the artist belt has more lineage with the Mayus holding and the EOs and the Kyries and the Tams and the Julias and the Sherrys and so on and so forth. So there's a little more, little more steam behind that. I think it's a win-win, my friend. But you're right. Can you imagine if like Hate retains here and then God's Eye? We're like, oh, come on. Come on, man. I guess we'll see what happens. But I think Yuna will retain, and Yuna and Xena.
Yeah, that will be great. I think this artist title match will main event, but
I agree.
That high-speed title match will be absolutely fantastic. They've done some great work over Golden Week.
They did a great job building up. Massive fan of Xena. Yuna, new gear as well on the homecoming show. Looking like $1 million. Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, I guess if you're kind of asking who would I rather see hold the artist belts, Momo Kogo or Lady C, man, I'm gonna cop out and say heads you win, tails you wins. I don't know. I'm gonna say maybe Momo Kogo because of everything she's been through. You know what I mean? With what is it, Crohn's or what was it that she has?
Oh, I can't remember. It's not a pleasant disease at all. Is it Graves?
Graves. That's right.
I think it's, again, I don't want to speculate. I think it might be Graves, but yeah, it's obviously wrestling with that condition must be horrendous, especially when it's flaring. It's, it's really quite painful, I imagine. Plus, obviously, you've got to think who wears the worst chaps, and that is, of course, Lady C. So does she deserve a championship reign with those chaps? But then recently I found out that she makes her own gear, and now I feel mean for having mocked Lady C's chaps.
You mentioned that on the show years ago, buddy.
I know, but I've only just remembered.
Well, and now here's something else. Like if she wins the artist belts and say she takes the pink one, then maybe does she lose the chaps because she doesn't need it because she already has that accessory? Like, you can only hold, like Todd McFarlane used to say, I can only juggle so many things. I can only do comics and TV shows and writing a movie. So like, it's like, is that too many accessories where like I have to lose the chaps? So maybe do we want Lady C to win? Robert, really overthinking this. Momo Kogo's winning. I
think the Lady C is going to lose the trouser part of her attire now that she's won a belt.
Yeah, exactly.
The chaps don't make sense. The chaps do not make sense. But yeah, whoever wins, I'm not particularly. I would like to see God's Eye win. Again, the artist belts are a bit of an anomaly with the hate storyline at the moment, but we'll see. We'll see. One thing we will see is Rina in Mexico. She may well be bringing the CMLL Japan Women's Championship back to Stardom. Obviously, India CO defeated Hazuki for it in Korakuen Hall, took it back to Mexico. Rina was announced for the Fantastica Mania Mexico 2026 show in Arena Mexico on the 19th of June, alongside a raft of New Japan talent as well. But it has now been announced that she will be the challenger for that belt against India CO in Arena Mexico. So Rina might well be strapped up already. Well, no, actually, because it's afterwards. But nevertheless, I'm really looking forward to this because I thought India CO and Hazuki had a fantastic match. India CO overall, I thought was great during her mini tour of Stardom. In fact, of the women that have come over from CLLL, obviously you've got India CO, you've got Olympia, you've got Tabata, you've got Dark Silhouette, who unfortunately got injured on the tour, but looked really good in the lead up to that match with, was it Koguma? I think. Mm-hmm. All of them have looked really, really good, and I'm really excited to see this this matchup here because it is a little bit of a clash of styles, and I think that's going to work really, really well. Don't see Rina winning though.
I think just the backpedal, but not to, I want to correct you, but I think India beat Hazuki wasn't in Cork, and I believe it was on the finals of the Cinderella tournament.
You are absolutely right, on the 15th of March.
Because I actually just had that on the TV this morning when I was getting ready for work. So I was like, oh, I forgot that they put this great match in this loaded finals of the Cinderella tournament. But anywho, first of all, this graphic's amazing with the red dragon, Rina, really and the green dragon by India. This is going to be terrific. My guess it'll probably be on the Triller TV app because they do cover a lot of CMLL. So this will be really great to watch. Yeah, these two are going to have an absolute banger. I see India retaining. But again, I mean, it's a possibility Rina wins this and then she defends it. It is CMLL/Japan title. And then we see Rina defending it, somewhere in the summer coming up, as we're leading him towards the 5. So again, this is going to be great for Rina and be able to wrestle in Arena Mexico. She just had her U.S. debut over in Vegas here, had a great match with Athena, and then is going to one of the most legendary venues in all of the world when it comes to pro wrestling in Arena Mexico to wrestle India Sioux. So yeah, it's another one that I'm really looking forward to, my friend.
A little bit of faction movement then. We thought that there was going to be a little bit in terms of people starting to pair off. There's a lot of talent in Stardom currently that's unaffiliated. Obviously, we have seen the strengthening, I suppose, of the Ito Respect Army. They have their own banner now, obviously, that hangs with the rest of the units, and that is, of course, legitimate.
Great production, great quality. You have to give it to them top notch for the top Joshi company in the world. I mean, no expense.
I mean, to be fair, it was made of stern stuff because Aya Sakura couldn't tear it. Aya Sakura had an absolute mare trying to tear that. But after the show in Fukuoka and after Matoy Hamabe and Ankanai's unsuccessful attempt at the New Blood tag titles, Ankanai made the move we all thought she would make and asked if she could join Cosmic Angels. Natsupoi said yes, Yoriano said yes, Yuna Mizumori said yes, and then that old party pooper Aya Sakura was like, whoa. Okay, time out here, guys. You all saying yeah. You made me go through trials. I was like Hercules. I had to do 7 labors. So, no, hold that thought. Put a pin in that, Anne. Okay, you're going to go through the trials of Sakura. And if you pass those trials, you can join the Cosmic Angels. Now, in my head, these aren't going to be matches. These are going to be ridiculous tasks that she is being asked to do, which in my head, they could have a lot of fun with.
Like riding a bike through like a bunch of picker bushes, something like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She's got to swim a certain distance in a certain amount of time.
I could have this wrong. We do have some inside information from our friends over at Stardom that again, rumored that she's going to have to watch and enjoy Star Wars Episode 2. And I'm all for that, buddy, because I really enjoyed Attack of the Clones again.
Mate, even the people in that film didn't enjoy it.
So you're telling me she's not going to be a member of Cosmic Angels?
Do you know what? If that was my trial, I'd be like, do you know what? I'm going to ask to be a part of Neo Genesis. Like, this isn't worth it. Like, there's no Tam anymore. Okay. You don't even do the dance anymore. So, no, do you know what? I'm peacing out. Starlight Kid. Kid.
Club Venus. That's not been a faction in years.
Oh my
She's looking for
God.
Mariah May.
Venus. I hadn't forgotten about that faction. But yeah, Ankanai is the perfect fit. I imagine we'll get some singles matches, some exposure for Ankanai. I think she's 0-37 this year in matches. So I'm looking forward to seeing again. I imagine she will pick up this first win, and that will be the sort of the gateway into Cosmic Angel. Will be hilarious if she picked up that first win over Aya Sakura. But
Spear jackhammer.
absolutely just flattens her in 16 seconds. No, that's what I think of your trials. But yeah, Ankanai on the precipice of joining Cosmic Angels, which of course does leave Matoy Hamabe, Emma Maishima, and Kikyo Furusawa without factions still, as well as Suzuki, Koguma, Micah, and the rest of EXV as well. So we could see more population of factions soon. Just want to talk a little bit about the numbers in terms of Stardom at the moment, simply because Stardom had their highest cumulative attendance ever in April. So for a calendar month, Stardom had the most cumulative attendees for a month. So just to compare, April 2025 was their previous best, where they drew 13,614 people over 9 shows. This year, they drew 13,822 people to 7 shows, and that's without the attendance for Las Vegas. So just think about that. The average attendance this year, and I know that obviously this is hugely buoyed by the 8,000 people plus that they drew to Yokohama, but their average attendance is 1,975.
Wow.
Just in April. And if you have a look at the graphic, obviously, if you're on YouTube or on Patreon, you can see the red line is your 2026 attendance, and just how much higher that is than 2023, 24, and 2025. It really does indicate, and if you have a look at the purple at the end of the year as well, just how hot Stardom has been. You look at sort of the 5-star finals in August onwards, just every single month seems to be a new record or beating the previous month, or, a higher average. I mean, Stardom currently over 2026 are averaging more than 1,000 people per show, which is mad. The previous highest was 2025, and I believe the average was 840 something. But this year in 2026, I know we're only 5 months into the year, 4 months, their average is 1,000 people per show, which is absolutely wild.
You have to consider a lot of these buildings only fit 400 or 500 people, so if they couldn't even fit more people in there. So some of these buildings, they're only holding again 400 or 500, 600 people, and they're still averaging over 1,000. Again, obviously, I know it's because they did 8,000 at Yokohama, but it's tickets drawn. Obviously, we have to include it. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? But yeah, you're right. I mean, the company's been on fire for quite a bit. I mean, really, coming off the pandemic, 2021, they really had a great year. 2022, my opinion, as far as quality goes and booking goes, one of the best single years for any wrestling company ever. 2023, obviously, that's when we had, there's a couple things behind the stage going on, but we had the great All-Star Grand Queen and one of the best wrestling shows ever. 2024 going into 2025, they were falling on all cylinders on all pistons. They were fired.
Nailed it, buddy.
Yeah, I know, and I slept really good last night. Anywho, but yeah, you're right. You take a look at this graph, and again, kudos to you, partner, putting this together, because obviously you can like what you like, but the numbers don't lie. I'm a numbers person, so it's really cool looking at this from pretty much from the 5-star on. You could just see those numbers bouncing up. And as I'm looking at these red numbers here for 2026, I mean, they're just keep doing better and better and better. It doesn't seem like there's any signs of slowing down. It looks like it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And again, hopefully we get that Tokyo Dome show announcement sometime soon. Maybe they're going to run Nippon Budokan Hall. We've heard of other Joshi companies that really want to run there. Why not Stardom? So they're constantly doing well over 1,000 people for every Korakuen, and no other wrestling company is doing that. Not even New Japan. They've been struggling really the past 2 years to put over 1,000 people in Korakuen on a consistent basis. So yeah, there's a lot of buzz on Stardom, my friend, and I think the company's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. There's again, I'm intrigued to see what happens with Sayaka Kurara, if she is a long-term champion or if she is a transitional champion. I think the prevailing theory at the moment is that she will be a transitional champion, maybe dropping the belt before the 5-star Grand Prix, and then obviously have Saya Kamatani win the 5-star Grand Prix. But it is worth seeing, if you're looking on this graphic, you look at the purple, that's all 2025, and a lot of that is the buzz around Saya Kamatani. And that really does indicate, you look at how that's a comparison to the blue, which is 2024. The comparison between 2025 and 2024 is absolutely unreal. And I know that obviously early in 2024, you had Rossi leave, you had Marigold split, you had all of this sort of
Julia leaving.
Exactly. You had Utami leave, you had Julia leave, you had quite a lot of tumultuous occurrences happening. You had all of those issues with the previous president of Bushi Road at the end of 2023. Lack of communication with fans, lack of communication with the wrestlers. And you see that reflected in the ticket sales for 2024, especially early on in January, February, and in March. And then you look at the end of 2024 and you go into 2025 and everything, as I mentioned, was higher and better. And then 2026 is building on that, capitalizing on that. And I'm really intrigued, obviously, now with Saya Kamatani not on top of the company, I'm intrigued to see where this goes. Okay, how are Stardom going to capitalize? Who is going to step up, and who is going to continue to shine in this era of Stardom?
I still think people are paying money to see Kamatani, even though that she's not champion. I go back to a few years ago, like with Hulk Hogan, when like Warrior was champion, and like it was like Warrior and Rude in the cage at SummerSlam, but the bigger draw was Hogan and Earthquake when Hogan wasn't champion. That's the way I look at it. Like I know Sakura is a champion, but no disrespect, it's not she's not the biggest star. And neither is Hanan. It's Kamatani, even without the belt, is still the biggest star in this company. In my humble opinion, good sir.
Let's talk very, very quickly then, before we delve into our Golden Week reviews. Just want to talk a little bit about this marvelous Yokohama Buntai show that happened on the 5th of May. One match in particular, which obviously featured Stardom talent in Mei Seira. Mia Momono versus Mei Seira, 6th match on the card. If you haven't had a chance to seek out this pay-per-view yet, the pay-per-view is fantastic. The main event was brilliant. Magenta versus Nyla Rose and Naija, despite the surprising result, I thought was also really, really good. And there's a little bit of discourse about Mayu Iwatani, but obviously the circumstance and the pomp around Rin Kadokura's retirement was amazing. But this match for me stole the show. Mia Momono versus Mei Seira were basically told, right, here you go. You've got 7-8 minutes. I think it was a 10-minute time limit match. You've got 7 minutes. Do all of the moves you know, but you've got to do them in double time. And the fact that they were able to do what they were able to do at the speed of which they were able to do it, with no mistakes, with no positional errors, with no break, just goes to show what special talent both of these women are. And Mei Seira, Mei Seira is a weird one because she's obviously graduated from this high speed division. And I want to see her in the white belt position. And it's matches like this that make you realize she's so underutilized in Stardom. She really, really is. Like, obviously, she's in like the hottest faction in Stardom. Starlight Kid, Azumi, Miyu Hamasaki. Feels like Mei Seira is sometimes a little bit of an afterthought, and she shouldn't be because she's so bloody good, Matt Turner.
She's special talent, and so is Miyamoto, and I'm so glad that Miyamoto had this platform, this match, and then obviously she wrestled the next match with a team with Izuki Aoki to take on Rin and Mayu. And a lot of people that really don't know too much of Miyamoto watch this, and then especially in Vegas as well. I'm like, Miyamoto's getting a really big name out there. And you're absolutely right, Rob. You talked about they hit all the beats. There's no positioning off. And they were able to even cram a story in there. And the story was Miyamoto trying to hit her Kichan bomb, her version of the code red. She tried for it 3 times, was finally able to hit it. And that's how, in the words of Dusty Rhodes, she went to the pay window, baby, and got the 3 count. So they were able to tie all that in like 7.5, 8 minutes. Then afterwards, they're like, hey, let's team together. Well, the one thing we've noticed, Rob, is Joshi will tease us some things. Sometimes they don't pull through, like Hazuki versus Soriano back in 2024 for the Wonder Belt at the beginning of 2024. We never got that. Miyamoto and Mayu, they teased, I think, back in October. Here we are in May. We still didn't get that yet. So it's like, man, I want to see it. I'm excited, but I don't want to get my hopes up just too much because it seems like a lot of things get teased and they don't pull through. And that just happens. It's like sometimes, cards subject to change. But I'm going to throw this at you, Rob. Obviously, the match was great. I think I gave it 4.25 stars. Cheap plug, myself and Andy Header. Full review of this entire show over on Talk Joshi. But they did say they're going to team up. If they do team up in Stardom, Stardom specific, what's the one team or 2 wrestlers you want to see these 2 wrestle? And there's no wrong answer.
FWC.
Yeah, I think FWC or Starbomb, I think, would be the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, both of those matches will be incredible. But again, May Sarah is another one of those wrestlers that whenever she is given the nod, absolutely delivers, whether it's in a high-speed title match against someone who is a little bit more unconventional to the sound, like Xena. May Sarah put on an absolute barn burner with her. Singles match with Hazuki for the high-speed title. Incredible match. They reversed it and had another singles match. Absolutely incredible. Whenever she is given the opportunity, May Sarah delivers. And I want to see her out of this high-speed bubble now. I want to see her versus Hannon for the white belt would be incredible.
Remember, they don't like each other. We keep forgetting that.
They hate each other.
They don't realize until the bell rings. Like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as that bell rings, they hate each other for some reason, and then it's never mentioned again. It's a bizarre rivalry. But yeah, I mean, you don't even need a storyline for that. Just go, right, well, these 2 hate each other. Stick them in the ring again. Off you go. I wouldn't hate seeing that at the conversion. Sayaka Kurara versus Natsuko Tora, Hannon versus May Sarah. I'd be down.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then again, I mentioned before, if Kamitani takes his belt back, whether it's this year, end of the year, or next year, Kamitani and May Sarah on any pay-per-view would be phenomenal. You fit that in like an Oda War, 2,000 people. Again, Sarah's probably going to lose, but again, not everybody wears a hacksaw Jim Duggan. Not everybody can be the lead singer of the band. Sometimes you need to play drums, and that's still a good position to be because at least you're on stage. And I think that's great for May Sarah. Do I see her winning any of those belts? No. Do I see her having great matches for the Wonder World? Yes. Would I be upset if she wins either of those belts? Not at all, because she is truly a special talent. I mean, this match had so much. It was such a highlight of when you talk about like who are the best wrestlers in Joshi. Like we get people all the time be like, hey, I'm looking into Joshi. Who are some of the top wrestlers? Or like Mayu and Utami and Azumi and Starlight Kid and Saya Kamitani and Momo Watanabe and Suri and Shiro Hashimoto. Like, what about May Sarah Miyamoto? Like, oh yeah, because it's an embarrassment of riches of how great Joshi is. And you mentioned May Sarah sometimes get lost in the shuffle. It's because it's an embarrassment of riches. I mean, look at the faction she's in. May Sarah's one of the best wrestlers in the world, but she's arguably the 3rd best wrestler in her faction because Azumi and Starlight Kid are there. So, and again, who benefits the most? We do, the fans. And again, this match was phenomenal on a phenomenal show, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Matt, just the final thing you said, I don't see her winning those titles. Mate, I didn't see Sayaka Kurara coming out as your new World of Stardom champion. So that entire sort of philosophy is out of the window now.
Yeah, and I also didn't see me getting only 2 of 16 predictions right. If you think about that, even if you just blind guessed, you would have gotten better than 2 out of 16.
Well, it's funny you should say that. Let's just very quickly talk about the marvelous prediction. So this was the 2nd installment of the World of Joshi predictions contest. Matt Turner set the world alight with his astronomical 2 out of 16, which does put him, by the way, firmly behind me, which is absolutely where he deserves to be. He, by the way, is currently, Matt, you are on 12 over the 2 shows. I am on 15. So in terms of who is going to be wearing the Momo Bob Banana hat, Momo banana hat, sorry. It will be you at the moment.
Fiery comeback, baby. Fiery comeback.
Again, we have got the double header coming up of Queen's Dynasty and Shine Forever, so everything could change. But in terms of our marvelous predictions, I will just say you should have all had your scores emailed out to you. Nobody did particularly well. So please don't worry if you only got 2 or 3. Nobody did particularly well. However, our winner of the marvelous predictions challenge is Dirty Fall. Well done, Dirty Fall. 7 predictions correct, and with those 7 predictions, Dirty Fall also moves into the lead of the predictions league. Our top 3: Dirty Fall in first position, Berry 420 in second, and Steve Kakla-Manos in third. Matt Turner, I am currently in fourth, despite Sayonara Spaghetti Sauce's absolute outrage that he'd only just beaten me in the All-Star Grand Queendom predictions. I am now firmly in fourth position until Queen's Dynasty and Maki Ito dethroning Sayaka Kurara and Hannon time limit draw with B. Priestley and just Joshi apparently deciding, you know what, we're going to screw Gerp. Let's all screw Gerp.
Hashtag screw Gerp.
Hashtag screw Gerp. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a part of our Patreon, $1 and above tier, please come and join the fun on the World of Joshi Predictions League. Again, winners with every pay-per-view will get a big shout out on the podcast and on Patreon and all that. You will obviously win as well. The cumulative winner over the year, which at the moment is Dirty Fall, will win a special one-of-a-kind predictions winner hat. And that will be announced at the end of All-Star Grand Queendom. And the predictions challenge, ladies and gentlemen, does indeed roll on, because on the 23rd of May, there's not one, there's 2 shows coming up. Of course, there's Queen's Dynasty 2026, but there's also Marigold Shine Forever. So those 2 forms will be up on Patreon for our $1 and above patrons. They will be 2 separate forms, so make sure to get your predictions in on both forms. And that should really set the cat among the pigeons, as my nan used to say. And again, if you haven't already signed up and you're like, oh, I'm going to be too far behind, don't worry. You could quite easily win Queen's Dynasty. It won't take you long to reel me and Matt in, trust me. Even if we've got a 2-show head start, it will not matter. We will be near that bottom, I guarantee.
We got the 5-star Grand Prix coming up, so we'll see what we're gonna do there. The Dream Star, we got a lot rolling in, so there might be one where Rob and I do so bad we get a negative.
Absolutely, I'm sure we can work that out somewhere. But yes, patreon.com/World of Joshi. The Queen's Dynasty predictions will go up, hopefully, the week before. It depends when Stardom announce the card, and obviously the Shine Forever ones will come out the week before as well, again, depending on when the card announcement is. But with that, let's start talking about some of these shows, because we're over an hour into this podcast, Matt Turner, and we've got 5 shows to review. So just a quick reminder, we're going to go through these shows. I'm going to give you the attendances, anything you need to know about the shows. I'll then pause after all of the quick results just so that Matt can give his star rating. And then we're going to zoom in on 2 or 3 matches from each of the cards just to spotlight them for you so you know which matches to go and check out, because it can be quite overwhelming if you miss a handful of shows when suddenly there's 5 Stardom shows to watch. So we're going to give you the edited highlights, so to speak. So we're going to start, ladies and gentlemen, in Fukuyama, the opening day of Stardom's Golden Week tour on the 29th of April. This was from the Fukuyama Big Rose in Hiroshima. 738 people in attendance, which Stardom have confirmed to be a sellout. As I mentioned before, 4 of these 5 shows over Golden Week were sellouts. So again, really hot tour coming off the back of All-Star Grand Queendom. Not only is this the company's highest ever attendance at the venue of the 7 times they have now run it, but it's a 20.39% increase on their previous attendance there, which was 613 people in September of 2025. So, in terms of our matches, we opened, Matt, with a singles match. Micah defeating Tabata with a Michinoku Driver 2 in 6 minutes and 51 seconds.
3 3/4 stars. That's how this is going to work.
There you go. Smooth as silk, ladies and gentlemen. Tag team match next. Neo Genesis, Starlight Kid and Mei Seira defeating Ann Kanai and Matoi Hamabe. Starlight Kid submitting Ann Kanai with the Black Tiger leg killer in 10 minutes and 54 seconds.
3 3/4 stars.
You say it so seductively. 6-woman tag team match. The God's Eye team of Syuri, Amisori, and Lady C. They defeated Natsupoi, Soriano, and Rian, with Amisori pinning Rian with the Blue Thunder Bomb in 9 minutes and 8 seconds.
3 3/4 stars.
It's how you say it. Another 6-woman tag. Azumi, Miyu Amasaki, and Tomoka Inaba defeating Hazuki Kogame and Emma Maishima. Tomoka Inaba, who had a really good tour, it's worth pointing out, submitting Emma Maishima with the just face lock in 10 minutes and 11 seconds.
Rob, guess what?
Go on.
3
and
and
half
3/4
stars.
stars. No, 3 3/4 stars. It seems like ages ago I've seen this show because this was back last month, and I'm looking at
it really was
3 3/4 stars. A lot of 3 3/4 stars. Oh, we break it here. Okay.
There we go. 6-woman tag match. Hate, Saya Kamatani, Natsuko Tora, and Ruaka defeated Mavida Loka, Suzu Suzuki, Tsukiyoki, and Akira Kuragane. Saya Kamatani planting Akira with the Star Crusher in 10 minutes and 50 seconds.
3 1/2 stars.
Oh, boo. We break the streak. 8-woman tag match. Sayaka Kurara, Aya Sakura, Yuna Mizumori, and Rani Agami. They defeated Maki Ito, Kikyo, Furusawa, Zina, and Waka Tsukiyama. Sayaka Kurara pinning Waka Tsukiyama with the Tokameki Spear in 11 minutes and 2 seconds.
3 1/2 stars.
And then your 8-woman tag match main event. The hate team of B. Priestley, Konami, Rina, and Azusa Inaba defeated Hanan, Saida, Momokogo, and Hanako. Konami pinning Sayurida with a buzzsaw kick in 13 minutes and 12 seconds.
3 3/4 stars.
Beautiful. Let's start then. The first match we want to talk about is Starlight Kid and Mei Seira versus Ann Kanai and Matoi Hamabe. A couple of reasons I wanted to highlight this. First, it was just a really good match, thoroughly enjoyable. I always enjoy when Starlight Kid and Mei Seira tag together. Again, you look at the tag team combinations, especially with O2 Line and Starbomb. This is an underrated partnership in Neo Genesis. I just think they fit together really well. They bounce off each other very well. Ann Kanai and Matoi Hamabe are an absolute delight to watch. I absolutely love watching them. Obviously, following this in their backstage comments, this was where they laid down the challenge for the New Blood tag titles in the match that would obviously take place in Fukuoka, which is one we will be talking about. But I just thought the chemistry, there you go, man. Chemistry, first mention of it. The chemistry between all 4 ladies here was really, really good. And if anything, solidified my thoughts that Matoi Hamabe needs to be in Neo Genesis.
Yeah. I may mention at the beginning of this episode that obviously you have your great wrestlers in Stardom, your Starlight Kids, your Micahs, your Saya Kamatanis. But this tour really highlighted a lot of the youth, and especially Matoi and Ann. Matoi and Ann Kanai were great, and Kid and Mei Seira made sure they gave them enough where they look credible. Again, that's what you always want to do. You want to build somebody up. And Kid and Mei Seira did a great job of it. And Matoi, especially the way she's been tacking the arm these last few shows, especially these shows, like she's really going after that arm, properly. And considering the fact that you don't have like a really big submission style wrestler in Neo Genesis, and I know Kid uses the leg killer submission and Azumi uses the numero uno, but you don't see it too much. Like I think Matoi's style fits in well, yet offers something different if she does go to Neo Genesis. And I think she's the perfect fit. And
Mm.
you're right, buddy. About a minute ago, you mentioned how underrated Kid and May Sarah are. We've been seeing them win a lot of these tag matches on these quote unquote house shows, road to shows, with Starlight Kid doing the 619 and then May Sarah with the shooting star roll. That's a really cool combination pin. This was actually my favorite match from the show. Again, I thought
Mhm.
this was great. It was a great highlighting the youth movement in Stardom, and then two great wrestlers in Starlight Kid and May Sarah. And again, Rob, for those who missed it, my star rating was 3 3/4 stars.
Which is weird because the next match we're going to talk about was also 3 3/4 stars. Natsupoi Soriano and Rian versus Syuri Syuri, Amizori, and Lady C. I highlighted this for a number of reasons. One, because I absolutely love this trio of Syuri, Amisori, and Lady C. It's been great to see Lady C build some momentum throughout this tour. You mentioned people that have been highlighted throughout this tour. Tomoka Inaba is one of them. Lady C is one of them. And Rian is another. Not just because of her really great in-ring work now. She's developed into such a great character in ring. It's that character, though. Her partnership with Natsupoi over this tour and the stuff they've been doing backstage with Rian refusing to call her Natsupoi and calling her evil Natsupoi because of Natsupoi's tearing up of Maki Ito's Kawaii Star, just winding her up, is really, really funny. And again, Rian is an absolute delight to watch. Soriano and Natsupoi are one of the best teams in this entire roster. Just a genuinely really enjoyable match to watch.
Kind of like a little, like as far as behind the scenes go, a little tough week for Natsupoi with Rion winding her up and Maki Ito and then Calvin Newman. I don't know if you saw that. Like, kind of,
Callum Newman, yeah, I did.
I don't know if he was hitting on or whatever. And then it was a great camera shot where all of a sudden, like, he puts her arm around Natsupoi, and then out of nowhere, you just see Shingo, Natsupoi's husband, by the way, punch him right in the mouth. I'm like, absolutely, I would do the same thing.
But to be fair, like, I saw there was quite a few people that were like, "Oh, Natsupoi doesn't do anything. Why has Natsupoi not done anything? Why has Natsupoi not done anything?" She's looking at him like he's a creep. What else do you want her to do?
Yeah. Not only that, but if she hits him, it might be a disqualification and cost her husband. So let's think psychology. Stop overthinking it. And your Uncle MT's got you. Anywho, this match was great. Rion, Cosmic Angels. We know we have Kanai is probably going to be there. So think about this, Rob. We mentioned the 7 trials of Sayaka Kurora for Kanai. What if Rion is like, you know what, I want to join Cosmic Angels? And Natsupoi is like, not so fast. You got to go through the 7 trials of Poi. And the last one is to like kidnap the flag, like you play that game back when you're in grade school, but to kidnap the
flag.
But kidnap the paper championship from Maki Ito and bring it to Natsupoi.
Love it. There
yeah.
you go. Book it, Stardom. Book it.
This match was great again for a lot of reasons, and one of the main reasons for me is we got to see Natsupoi and Soriano team up. There was a lot of very great teamwork. Again, when you're putting a match together, like, what's your best stuff? The best stuff in this match is Sherry kicking ass, which obviously she did because she's Sherry, and the combination of Poi and Soriano, which we did see a lot of. Again, Rihanna was great. I love the stomping of the foot stuff she does here. Ami, Sori, and Lady C, you're absolutely right. Built up a lot of momentum on this tour. And then really to me, the meat of this match was the little middle that we got with Shuri and Soriano. We did see them have a match in the 5-star Grand Prix 2 years ago in 2024. Love to see them again have a big championship match somewhere down the line, maybe for Shuri's IWGP championship. Wouldn't say no to that. Again, this is really great stuff with eventually, though, Ami Soy getting the win over Stone Cold Rion. Again, Rob, my rating, 3 3/4 stars.
And then the final match I just wanted to talk about. I was tempted between this and the main event, but we're going to be talking a lot about the main events of these shows because a lot of the main events contain the same people. It was sort of centered around Bea Priestley and Hannon. So that's what we're going to be talking about on a lot of the other shows. But this one, there's a couple of reasons. Tomoka Inaba needs to be part of Neo Genesis. I know that she wants to challenge for the Goddess belts with Syuri, and yes, please. If whoever comes out of Queen's Dynasty as the Goddess champions is confronted by Karate Brave, hell yes, sign me up.
Yeah,
she just vibes with Neo Genesis. She's just, Azumi, Starlight Kid, Tomoka Inaba, Miyu Amasaki, and Mei Seira, and Matoi Hamabe. I mean, come on. Sure, I can't be the only person that thinks this, surely.
No, there was a lot of buzz online where it's just like Tomoka Inaba, as much as we love her in God's eyes, she'd be perfect in Neo Genesis, which it goes to show you what a great wrestler she is. The fact that she can work with two factions, or Rob, you can just put some black on her, turn her heel, and join hate. That hairstyle would fit well there.
Absolutely. I mean, to be fair, you could do that with any of them, to be
True.
fair.
You're absolutely right. She fit well here. And again, considering they were kind of teasing these backstage segments where Azumi was like, maybe hang out with us a little bit. It's a possibility, especially once Queen's Quest gets basically back on track, Rob, and then Azumi leaves to go back to Queen's Quest, so they're going to need a Tomoka Inaba firepower there. Nothing, you just no sold it. Anywho,
Yep.
Suzuki versus Tomoka Inaba. That's a singles match that we all need. There's a lot of great potential singles matches coming out of this tour, and that one may have been number one on my list. I don't think they've ever met in the 5-star before. I think when they've been in different brackets the last few years. Well, Hazuki wasn't in the tournament last year. Hopefully she's in this year. And again, Hazuki and Azumi, that never disappoints. The great stuff there. And again, Miyu Amasaki, really since coming off that great performance in the Cinderella tournament and then winning the tag titles again just a few weeks ago with Azumi at All-Star Grand Queendom, is really seen in another light. And Emma, she fit in her role really well, but ultimately, that she was just going to take the fall from Tomoka Inaba with the just tap out face lock. Again, a really solid match, but you're right. As great as the match was, I think the big story coming out of this is, will Tomoka Inaba join Neo Genesis? And it's a great story to kind of trek you along to watch the next few shows. So again, I really like what they're doing there. And again, Rob, 3 3/4 stars.
Let's move on to the second show then. And this was in Takamatsu at the start of May, the 1st of May, from the Symbol Tower in Takamatsu. The attendance 444. Another sellout for Stardom. It's a 4-person increase, which is 0.91% for anyone that cares, on their previous attendance at the Symbol Tower, which was 440 people in January 2026, and subsequently becomes their highest attendance ever at the venue of the 7 times they have run it. Now, just prior to this show, due to poor health, Stardom announcer Mei Seira will be unable to participate on the show. Her place was taken in the 8-woman tag match by Rian, who would wrestle twice. Also, Rina Yamashita missed this show due to participation at Gokiken Pro Wrestling's Kokiken Amistad 24 event in Kanagawa, which was also where Fukiken Death was during this show. So our results then, we open with a tag team match. The hate team of Azusa Inaba and Ruaka defeated Hanako and Emma Maishima. Azusa Inaba getting the win over Emma with the Azusa's older sister Super in 7 minutes and 23 seconds, Mr. Turner.
3.5 stars.
Tag team match, Xena and Rian, they defeated the Cosmic Angels team of Natsupoi and Yuna Mizumori. Xena rolling up the high-speed champion Yuna Mizumori with the Thunder Roll in 7 minutes and 26 seconds.
3.5 stars.
6-woman tag, Mavida Loca, Suzu Suzuki, Itsuki Aoki, and Akira Kuragane defeated Lady C, Rani Yagami, and Motoi Hamabe. Itsuki Aoki getting the win over Motoi with a lariat in 11 minutes and 23 seconds.
3.5 stars.
Sensing a theme. 8-woman tag match next. Saori Anou, Sayaka Kurara, who I don't think main evented any of these shows, by the way, despite being red belt champion. Aya Sakura and Ankanai defeated Maki Ito, Kikyo Furusawa, Waka Tsukiyama, and Tabata. Sayaka Kurara pinning Kikyo with the Falcon Arrow in 13 minutes and 51 seconds.
3.5 stars.
Oh, we're going to make it all the way through the show. Please be a consistent rating throughout the show. 8-woman tag team action. Azumi, Miyu Amasaki, Starlight Kid, and Rian, wrestling for the second time, defeated Amisori, Tomoka Inaba, Hazuki, and Koguma. Miyu Amasaki rolling up Koguma with the Amana Hashidate in 13 minutes and 11 seconds.
3 3/4 stars.
Boo.
A 4 in a row is the record.
Damn it. I mean, he was never only going to be 3.5. He's got Azumi, Starlight Kid, and Azuki in it. Damn it. 10-woman tag team main event. Syuri, Hanan, Sayuri Momokogo, and Maika defeated the hate team of Natsuko Tora, Konami, Saya Kamatani, Rina, and B. Priestley. Sayuri getting her win back over Konami with the vertical drop brainbuster in 14 minutes and 17 seconds, Mr. Turner.
4 stars, good
there
sir.
we go. Only got 2 matches we want to talk about on this show. The first one being that aforementioned 3 3/4 match that Matt has rated. Neo Genesis and Rian teaming against Suzuki Koguma, Tomoka Inaba, and Amit Sori. Matt, why was it that you highlighted this one, or was it just because look at who was in the match?
Well, there's no way this is going to be anything other than spectacular. But the main crux of this match, again, what do you need to do? You need to build to your next big show. What's your next big show? Queen's Dynasty. And you have FWC versus O2 line. So they did a great job building, sprinkling things in, building it all around there. Obviously, Stone Cold Rion, she was phenomenal here. Tomoka Inaba and Starlight.
I think she might have been my MVP of Golden Week.
I think she was up there, either her or Matoy and Kanai as well. Man, I tell you what, good problem to have.
Very good problem to have.
Folks, let us know who your MVP is. No wrong answer. That's for sure. No wrong answer. Ami Sori, again, she came into this like a thunderbolt, pun absolutely intended. Again, a lot of this match, Rob, it just really worked. 13 minutes, 8 wrestlers. It was all killer, no filler. And then you get towards like the middle of the match where you see Azumi and Hazuki go into high speed mode. Obviously, in my opinion, Azumi's the greatest high-speed champion in the history of the company. But it was really Hazuki back, I believe it was 2018, 2019, that really kind of set the bar for the new high-speed style matches, having those great 4, 5, 6-minute matches that it's like blinking, you'll miss it. Obviously, Kaguma, former high-speed champion, as well as Starlight Kid. But again, for me, this match was all about O2 Line versus FWC. Probably the match I'm looking forward to the most at the next pay-per-view coming up in 2 weeks' time. And they did a great job building that up. But ultimately, though, we do have Miyu Amasaki with the Amana Haradashi onto Koguma for the 3 count. Again, Rob, 3 3/4 stars.
And then the main event as well. I know you really enjoyed this, Matt. But before we get into this, just something I mentioned earlier about Sayaka Kurara, despite being the red belt champion, I'm just double checking to make sure that I have that right. She was in one main event, wasn't she? Because she was in Yuna Mizumori's homecoming show in the main event, but that's it. Are you surprised that we've put the red belt on Sayaka Kurara and then instead we're highlighting the white belt match more than the red belt match in terms of your main events?
I tell you, I mean, obviously, when we only have 2 more shows into the pay-per-view, and in my opinion, the match that's been built up the best is Hanan and B. Priestley.
It has, absolutely right.
Because of the violence. Like, FWC versus O2 line. It'll be violent because it's Suzuki, but it's like more of like this is just great Joshi Puro tag team wrestling that we've seen so much over the last 4 or 5 years. But as far as like an emotional connection, to me, it's Hanan and B. Priestley. Like, you are going to pay money to see Hanan kick B. Priestley's ass. Like, that's what you want to see, very much like with Konami. So they're doing a great job there. But Golden Week is always going to sell really well. You're coming off your big show in the spring, All-Star Grand Queen, which is always one of the biggest and best shows of the entire year. Golden Week always sells well. It always has. It always will. So you figure, why not take this opportunity to put your new red belt champion in the main events? Considering the fact most of these main events were multi-person tags, just throw Sayaka on one side, Maki Ito on the other side, then you can throw a hodgepodge of whoever you want. And I think it would have worked. So it was a little surprise, disappointed, not really. I didn't lose any sleep over it, but I think it was a missed opportunity for them to highlight your new champion on Golden Week, to put them in the main events across the ring, a Konami, a Saya, teaming with a Maika, a Shuri, a Hanan, so on and so forth. So I think it was a little missed opportunity, my friend.
What were your thoughts on this match, then?
Again, great stuff. The main crux of this was Hanan and B. Priestley. More great stuff with Mike and Saya Kamatani. Again, terrific stuff there. Rina really excelled here. But again, Momokogo. Again, you look at all the star power in here, and you have main eventers here in Kamatani and B. Priestley and Konami and Rina. I think we could throw in the mix of a main eventer, when the time's right. Hanan, Shuri, Maika. There's a lot of star power here. Ida. How can I forget Ida? Tor's a former red belt champion. Geez, everybody in this match is a main eventer, really. And then Momo Kogo was like, I'm going to take advantage of every second I can. And I appreciate that so much with Momo Kogo because she can be almost missed in this match because of the great star power that's in her on her side, in their corner, and across the ring as well. I thought Momo did a great job. Really great stuff with B. Priestley and Shuri. I believe, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Shuri that beat B. Priestley for the SWA championship back, I believe, in 2020 or 2021.
It was indeed.
So those two, I would like to see that for the IWGP Joshi because those two really hit hard. B. Priestley, literally since she was back in Stardom day one, was like, I'm allowed to hit really hard here. That's right. They like it over here. And like didn't miss a beat. And obviously, Shuri's one of the hardest hitters. Again, we teased quite a bit with Mike and Sai Kamatani. Maybe that's the route they go for the show at the end of the year in Sumo Hall for Dream Queendom. Again, obviously more on that later. Great stuff with Saeed and Rina. A pairing we really don't see that much that ultimately just really seemed to work. But it is Saeed getting the win with that beautiful sheer drop brainbuster on Konami. Again, this one hit all of the beats for the right reasons. Of course, Rob, main event, hates in the match. How we got to start the match with the hate brawl. Of course we do. That really just sets the tone for the rest of the match. Again, 4 stars for me. One of my favorite matches from these 84 shows we're talking about, good sir.
I think it might be. No, I was going to say it might be my second favorite main event, but I don't think it was because I really enjoyed the tropical match in Kumamoto and obviously the Great Fukuoka quadruple crazy main event from Fukuoka as well. But this was a really, really good match. I found it very strange that we were doing a lot. But saying that, a lot of the build, especially Maki Ito versus Cosmic Angels, has been sort of done progressively from her signing in January all the way through. Whereas B and Hannon have to do a lot of catch up because their angle literally was set up at the end of April. So I do understand it in that way. I just think it's a bit strange that we haven't got Sayaka Kurara in any of the main events with Maki Ito. But again, it's I suppose that's the other side of it that you could see. Moving on then, we are going to go now to night 3 of the Golden Week Tour. This one from Kochi on the 2nd of May. Meisei returning to action on this show after missing the show in Takamatsu due to poor health. The announced attendance inside the Tres Gymnasium in Kochi was 424. This was the only show that was not a sellout of this tour. It is, however, a 4.69% increase on Stardom's previous house at the venue, which was 405 in June of 2025. Of course, therefore, becoming their highest attendance of the 5 times they have now run the venue. Matt, you know the way this works now. Let's do this tag team match. Starlight Kid and Xena defeating Cosmic Angels, Aya Sakura and Yuna Mizumori. Xena pinning Yuna Mizumori with the Thunderstruck in 9 minutes and 42 seconds.
3 3/4 stars.
3-way match, Motoi Hamabe defeating Ankanai and Emma Maishima. Motoi getting the win over Emma with the Hamabe wrap in 7 minutes and 25 seconds.
3.5 stars.
Tag team action next. The God's Eye team of Syuri and Tomoka Inaba defeating Rian and Waka Tsukiyama. Tomoka Inaba getting the win over Rian with the Tomoka Whirlwind leg in 8 minutes and 59 seconds.
3.5 stars.
Singles match next. Meisei defeating Tabata with the Meteor Dragon in 6 minutes and 11 seconds, which I want to see her win more matches with, Matt.
I agree. And 3 3/4 stars.
6-woman tag team action. God's Eye, Amisori, Hina, and Lady C defeated Mivida Loca, Suzu Suzuki, Atsuki Aoki, and Akira Kuragane. Amisori getting the win over Akira with the Blue Thunderbomb in 12 minutes and 9 seconds.
3 3/4 stars.
It's getting more sensual as the shows go on. 8-woman tag semi-main event. Hazuki Koguma, Maki Ito, and Kikyo Furusawa defeated Sayaka Kurara, Azumi, Miyu Amasaki, and Rani Yagami. Koguma rolling up Miyu Amasaki with the Kuma roll in 11 minutes and 52 seconds.
3.5 stars.
Bloody hell.
3.5 stars. I tried something different, didn't work there. Stick to
No,
what
it's
works,
fine,
Matt.
mate. You keep going. It's absolutely fine. And then we go 14 woman tag match because apparently 8 women and 10 women wasn't enough. We've now got to throw absolutely everything in the main event. Hate, Natsuko Tora, Ruaka, Konami, Saya Kamatani, Rina, Azusa Rinaba, and B. Priestley defeated Hanan, Sayurida, Momokogo, Natsupoi, Sioriano, Maika, and Hanako. Saya Kamatani getting the win over Momokogo with the Star Crusher.
3.75 stars. What was the time on that one, buddy?
That was 15 minutes and 45 seconds.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's go straight into the singles match then. Mei Seira versus Tabata is the first of the 2 matches we want to highlight here. Again, I want to see Mei Seira finish more people off with that Meteor Dragon because the talk she gets on it is so good. And again, I want to highlight Tabata as well, who of course wrestled her last match of this current tour with Stardom at Fukuoka. She's been fantastic. She's been such a utility player that you can plug in to any match, into any situation, and she just gets it. I think she's done tremendous work. I think the singles match with Micah was good. This was better.
This was great. I didn't know Tabitha, her last match was Shuri until they were making mention of, giving the shirt. And again, we'll get into it because I thought this was like almost like an impromptu high speed match. It only went 6 minutes, but very much like with Mei Seira and Miyamoto we talked about in the Marvelous show in Yokohama. This was a great match because it was almost a high speed style match, and Tabitha has been able to fit really well. Tags, 6-person, the 8 or 10-person, the high speed matches, the hard hitting matches. Again, she has a hard hitting big style match with Micah, a high speed style match with Mei Seira, and a very Joshi strong style match with Shuri, which we'll talk about in her final match. And she fit in really well. And I mentioned this before. I'm going to mention again. There's been a lot of great lucha style wrestlers that have come through Stardom the last handful of years. I think Tabitha is my clear favorite, and I would love to see her back again. I didn't know that Shuri match was her last match. I think I was talking to Andy Header off, through texting. I'm like, man, I hope Tabitha's in the 5-star. I think she would fit in really well. Obviously, it still could happen, but obviously going back to Mexico, I thought she was great. Her and Mei Seira didn't miss a beat. This was just a classic high speed style match, but eventually Mei Seira getting the win with that Meteor Dragon. You're absolutely right. It's almost that Meteor Dragon. We haven't seen her break out in quite some time. I think it'll fit really well into her current arsenal of moves, and it may take her up to that next level where she may challenge Mei Seira. She may challenge for the Wonder or the World Championship maybe sometime by the end of this year. And again, Rob Goodwin, 3.75 stars.
Main event, I'm just going to say it. I don't like 14 woman tags. I said it at Korakuen where we had about 12 different matches where it was all 10, 12, or 14 woman tags. I just don't like it. There's too much going on. And again, the wrestling is always going to be good. It's Stardom and everyone in this ring can wrestle. But I just don't like it. It's too much. It's too much to try and keep an eye on. You can't build stories well in a 14-woman tag. I'm sorry, it's just not for me.
I see your point. One of the reasons why I pointed this out is, again, great stuff with Soripoi in this match. I thought they worked really well with Rina and Azusa. That's something I like to see. Kamatani was great here. Crazy over. Really just terrific stuff. Played the hits and knew where to put her stuff. But again, one of the main reasons why I wanted to highlight this match is because the great build up with Hanan and B. Priestley. That's what really got the crux for me. Now, I see your point. Like, you can't build anything. I respectfully disagree because there is a lot there, but they did make sure when they were putting this together, like, hey, the heart of this match has to be to drive home being Hanan, which they did. Ultimately, though, they're like, hey, let's get Kamatani back on track. Who should we pin? Momokogo. Poor Momokogo. But I tell you what, Momokogo and Saya Kamatani towards the end had a nice little mini match. And of course, Kamatani bumping all over the place for Momokogo, like she's Shawn Michaels in that match with Hulk Hogan back at SummerSlam. That's just what Kamatani does. Again, they hit the beats. Everybody kind of played the hits here, but I agree. It's a little bit too much. But at the same time, I'm loving this Hanan and B. Priestley build up. 3.75 stars for me, my friend. Or, excuse me, 3.75 stars for Matt Turner.
There you go. We are now moving to Kumamoto for the fourth of the shows. But before we do, Matt Turner, I don't want to hype this too much, but I have a feeling this graphic might be the greatest graphic in Stardom history. Certainly the best one since Rani Agami's missing fingernail. Potentially the best one since that really random graphic where everyone was the wrong height. But just look at this. Look at this graphic for the Kumamoto show. I wonder whose homecoming show it is.
Rian, because doesn't Rian drink pineapple strong zeros?
That is true. That is very true. She does. She does. But what a graphic. What a graphic. It's so AI it hurts, but also absolutely brilliant. Absolutely love it. So obviously, as I mentioned, we are in Kumamoto on the 4th of May for Yuna Mizumori's homecoming show. Mei Seira absent from this show. She's also absent from the show in Fukuoka on the 6th of May due to her participation on the Marvelous show we talked about earlier on the 5th of May in Yokohama. The announced attendance inside the Kumamoto Joe Hall in Kumamoto, 538 people. They did announce Stardom ahead of time that this was a complete sellout, and therefore there were no tickets being sold on the gate for walk-ups. The attendance is a 20.36% increase on the previous house, 447 as a part of 2025's Golden Week, exactly a year ago, becomes the company's highest number at the venue. Let's go through these matches then. We open with a 6-woman tag. The hate team of Bea Priestley, Konami, and Rina defeating Hanan, Motoi Hamabe, and Ankanai. Bea Priestley getting the win over Hanan with the Star Killer in 12 minutes and 38 seconds, Matt.
3.5 stars.
3-way match. Tabata defeated Waka Tsukiyama and Saori Ano, getting the win over Waka with a fisherman's suplex in 5 minutes and 54 seconds.
I do want to say this. I'm 3 stars, and it breaks my heart to give that rating. This was too short. This was too short. But I'll say this: Saori Anu with the double pottering was phenomenal, but too short. So 3 stars.
I think my one negative about Golden Week is that we haven't had any Tom's Tundras.
None. There could have been a lot of, especially in that 14-person tag. Can you imagine she just lined them up and hit Tom's Tundra after Tom's Tundra after Tom's Tundra after Tom's Tundra, and then she considers herself the number 1 contender for the conversion. I don't know why we're not booking Stardom. I guess honestly, I guess they don't want more money than they're already giving.
Too much, apparently. 6-woman tag action next. Suzuki Kokomura and Kikyo Furusawa defeated the God's Eye team of Shiori Tomoka Inaba and Rani Agami. Kikyo Furusawa getting a pinfall victory over the Future of Stardom champion Rani Agami, sitting into a pinfall reversal in 9 minutes and 6 seconds to set up their Future of Stardom championship match, Matt.
3 3/4 stars.
Tag team action. The new odd couple of Natsupoi and Rian defeated the Stars team of Sairida and Momo Kogo. Poor Momo Kogo. Natsupoi pinning Momo with the Ferial Gift in 11 minutes and 28 seconds.
You ready for this one, folks? 4 1/4 stars.
Wow, the match to beat so far. 6-woman tag next. The God's Eye team of Lady Siami, and Hina, defeating Starlight Kid, Miyu Amasaki, and Emma Mai Shima. Lady C flattening Emma Mai Shima with her amazing big boot. 10 minutes and 36 seconds, Matt.
4 stars.
8-woman tag hate. Ksai Kamatani, Natsuko Tora, Ruaka, and Azusa Inaba defeated Suzu Suzuki, Akira Kuragane, Maika, and Hanako. Sai Kamatani pinning Akira with the Star Crusher in 10 minutes and 29 seconds.
3.5 stars.
And then in your 6-woman tag team main event, the Cosmic Angels team of Sayaka Kurora, Aya Sakura, and Yuna Mizumori defeated Xena, Maki Ito, and Nazumi. Yuna Mizumori in her hometown with the streamers, pinning Xena with the greatest finishing move name in the world, Kumamoto's unsinkable battleship, in 17 minutes and 20 seconds, Matt.
4 1/4 stars.
was a great main event. Was really, really enjoyable. Let's talk then about this tag team match. We're going to start talking about Natsupoi Rian versus Sayarita and Momo Kogo. As much as they can't coexist, Natsupoi and Rian, they are a really good team. And again, if any match on this Golden Week tour shows how much Rian has developed in ring, it's this one, man. Like, good luck. Is Rian potentially the new Future of Stardom champion, do you think?
Ooh. I mean, she's
I don't see Rana dropping it for a bit. I mean, she's defending it left, right, and center. She's defending it loads. I think she's held it less than 50 days, and I think this is a full title defense at Queen's Dynasty. But I can't really see anyone else dethroning her. Why not Rian?
Rian's over. Like Rana,
massively over.
Rana's over as well. There's a lot of people in Vegas wearing Rana shirts. I'm like, she's not even on this tour, but like, there's a lot of people that love Rana. But I think when the time's right, like if it makes sense, it might be something in the back of their head they might be thinking of. But let's see how everything goes. But
maybe go straight for the world.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Happen for Sayaka Carrara.
Oh, I think meant Roman Reigns. Okay,
yeah. Yeah, screw Obafemi.
Yeah, that's right. It's all about Rian. Again, it's a good shout, but
Obafemi is so good.
I think Rian is got to be in Cosmic Angel. I think it just it just makes sense here. And her and Natsupoi work well as a team. And I know I've said this so many times in the past. I'm going to say it again. Natsupoi, DDM was really good. Natsupoi with Tam, phenomenal. Natsupoi and Sort Anu, stop it. I'm being serious. I'm trying to be. I will break out. The greatest gift I've ever got.
Don't break out, tear falls.
I will. Tear tails. How dare you?
I don't care.
Yeah, you know it. I see what you're trying. I know. Kirsty told me you're practicing it on the guitar. I get updates. Anywho. But again, Natsupoi Sort Anu, I mean, geez, over the last 5 or 6 years, outside of the Young Bucks and FTR, maybe the most consistent tag team in all of wrestling. What a special team they are. And we've seen whenever that Natsupoi's got a team with Yuna or Aya or Sayaka, it works. And here with Rian, like, oh, of course it works. Like, it's Natsupoi. Like, in the Natsupoi Rian relationship, not only does it work from an in-ring aspect, Rob, but a storyline aspect, there's a lot they can do there. There really is. And you're taking Natsupoi, a main eventer, you're giving her something different to do, new, fresh. It puts her in a new light, a really cool light. And then you're taking Rian, rubbing shoulders with one of the best wrestlers in the best wrestling company in Natsupoi. I think it's a win-win for everybody. And again, you're getting great stuff outside of the ring, the storyline stuff, the character building. I think it's a win-win for everybody. And again, Saida and Momo Kogo, we've known that towards the end of last year, they were like the only 2 members left of Stars because Hana was injured. Mayu left for Marigold. FWC got kicked out. B. Priestley was going back and forth between England and Japan. These 2 work so well together. The Momo Kogo and Natsupoi stuff was great. It really was. I'm like, that's a singles match I'd really like to see. Very much like I mentioned Hazuki and Tomoka Inaba and Hina and Starlight Kid. That's a singles match I want to see coming off this tour. Saida just flattening Rian. Well, I think it's always funny, but then Rian coming back with her comeback. It's so believable because the crowd is so behind her and she's so over. But ultimately, though, is Natsupoi pinning Momo Kogo with the Pharaoh gift. Probably my second favorite match of this entire tour. I mean, it's kind of debatable, but because there's so much great stuff. Again, 4.25 stars. This is one that when I was looking at the cards, I'm like, it'll be all right, but not one of the ones I was really looking forward to. But this one knocked it out of the park. And again, they have something special with Rian and the Cosmic Angels members, especially Natsupoi. I think Natsupoi is able to spread her wings somewhat, pun someone intended. I didn't mean to do that, and really get some great character building doing this stuff. We see with Maki Ito, we saw with Suri at the end of last year, and now with Rian. I think they can really make Natsupoi a bigger star just based off what they can do with her character building going into the summer months, my friend.
Moving on to the 6-woman tag. I've said on multiple occasions I want to see Lady C use that big boot as a finish. And unfortunately, she just doesn't get enough pinfalls to actually use it as a definitive finish. But here she absolutely flattened Emma Mai Shima with it to secure the victory. I love this trio. I think this trio, Hina, Amisori, and Lady C, I know, obviously, we're both huge Momokogo fans, and that moment where Momokogo eventually gets a belt, whatever that belt is, will be a great moment. I'm all about these three. I am all about these three. And I do just want to point out, Steve Caclamanos actually made a very, very, very good point. We don't necessarily want another person having two belts holding the artist belts, because we saw it with Konami. Konami won the white belt and the artist belts, and because the white belt obviously takes precedent, the Artist of Stardom belt falls by the wayside, and we've seen that again and again and again. What we want to see is the Artist of Stardom championships being utilized more. We're seeing Stardom run 2, maybe even 3 Coricans a month, 4 if it's January, apparently. So why not use, the likes of a Lady C, Amisori, and Hina to main event those Korakuen Hall shows with the Artist of Stardom championships? It's just a thought.
Yeah, it's a good possibility because again, Ami and Lady C, that's like the go-to tag team in God's eyes. Much as we love Shiri and Smoke Inaba, they're kind of more the singles wrestlers. However, when they tag up, they're phenomenal. I mean, look at the opener in the main card of Dream Queendom last year against Starbomb. Like, boy, what a great way to start that show. But again, Ami Sori, Lady C, phenomenal. But you forget how great Hina and Lady C are. 2 years ago, they were a great team. Yeah, a Team Classroom in the Goddess Tournament. And they even did the 3D. And we saw that here. Now we've been seeing them do the double 3D because the Tokyo Towers of Ami and Lady C, they do the flapjack. And now you have Hina coming down with the cutter. So again, Rob, I mean, it's heads you wins, tails you wins. I'll say this: the match that I really want to see for this artist belts is Wingor and Momokogo versus this trio of Hina, Ami Sori, and Lady C. Now we've seen over the years, Rob, you know better than ever. You've written 2 books about Stardom. By the way, folks, if you go on Amazon, just type in Rob Goodwin, you get both books: Chasing the Dream, Living the Dream. You buy them together. Not only do you get two great books, you save on shipping. It's free shipping. So who doesn't want to do that? But we've seen those artist belts sometimes defended on a V0. So what's not to say it goes to Wingor and Momokogo, and then they lose it to this God's Eye trio. Again, I'm all here for it. I just want to see great wrestling. Nobody's doing wrestling better than Stardom, and that's saying something because there's been great wrestling all over the world. Joshi, the States, Mexico, Canada, England. There's been so much great wrestling, but no one's doing better than Stardom. I'm with you. I love this trio of Hina, Ami, and Lady C. And the other trio over here, Starlight Kid, Miyu Amasaki, and Emma. Emma's another one that seems to work with Neo Genesis, Rob. Again, let's see kind of where she lands when we're getting this faction cleanup, because I thought she worked really well here, did a great job building her up, and ultimately it was just kind of the more familiar teamwork of God's Eye that was able to get Lady C to throw that big running boot. And as soon as she hit it, I was like, oh, Rob's going to be so happy because one, Lady C wins, and she wins with, as you call it, the best running boot in the business. Again, 4 stars for me. Thoroughly enjoyed this one. And as I mentioned a minute ago, I'll mention again, Starlight Kid versus Hina. That is a matchup that we never really got, but both of them are in bigger lights. Obviously, Starlight Kid, the babyface turn about 2 years ago. She is arguably the second biggest star in this company. Hina is one that is fastly on the rise. I mean, put that on night 1 of the 5-star Grand Prix and just let them go. Again, who doesn't want to see that? That's a matchup. To me, the bits that they had were like the best parts of this match. But the real story was just, we need to make sure that we get over that Ami Sori, Lady C, and Hina could be the best trio in this company as they're building up for those artist belts. Again, perfect story, really great match.
And then finally, move on to the tropical main event. Yuna Mizumori winning in her hometown, which was nice. And again, her and Xena really showed what we can expect in this Korakuen Hall match for the high-speed title. Matt, really, really enjoyable match. Again, one of my favorite matches of the tour, probably my second favorite main event behind the match that we're going to be talking about very shortly in Fukuoka. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. And especially when you look at that rather mismatched team on Xena's side, Xena, Maki Ito, and Azumi. Obviously, you've got Cosmic Angels on one side, but that's a really quite interesting trio on that right-hand side.
Yeah, seems like something's a little different, but it was still fun. Again, what are you using these Golden Week to do? To build up to your next two big shows. Again, the end of the month, we do have the pay-per-view, and then right before that, we have the Corkin. So you're building units, Yuna's hometown. So you're building Yuna and Xena, which again, Yuna and Xena has been built up almost as good as B. Priestley and Hana. They've done a great job building to that high-speed championship match. And obviously, Maki Ito and Sayaka Kurora is your main event for the richest prize in all of wrestling, in my opinion, the red belt on the next pay-per-view. So you build that. And then, oh, by the way, since we're building up those two matches, we just have Azumi and Aya Sakura. So we may as well let them have some fun. And again, that's a match I really want to see. Give me a big 10, 12-minute Azumi versus Aya match somewhere down the line. And again, Rob, you look at, there's a lot of moving parts in this match. You forget until it happens how great Aya and Yuna are as a tag team as Sakura Demon. They were great. Stole the show back. I believe it was the 2024 Goddess of Stardom Tag League. I think we had them as like either the MVPs or the breakout tag team. Sakura, again, she's holding herself really well here as champion. She's believable for the newer fans to Stardom. Again, I thought they did great here. But again, my main crux of this was just Yuna and Xena having that closing stretch was great. Again, Azumi knows where to put all the parts. She's the most explosive wrestler in this match. And no disrespect to the other five wrestlers because they're great, the best wrestler in this match. So she does what she needs to do. But Azumi is very, very smart. She knows that she's not the main focal point in this match. It's Sayaka and Maki and Yuna and Xena. And that's what they do in this match. It just everything seemed to gel well. Nothing went too fast. Nothing went too slow. There was psychology. There was pacing. There was great beats. There was great singles matches, great tag action. I mean, nothing missed in this match. Everything I thought was perfect. Again, 4.25 stars for me.
And finally, we move on to the show in Fukuoka, the final stop of this Golden Week tour. We are in across Fukuoka for this show on the 6th of May. 672 people in attendance, which again, Stardom did announce as a sellout. Now, though it is a complete sellout, according to the company, it is a slight 2.75% decrease from the company's previous attendance at the venue, which was 691 as a part of the 2025 Golden Week tour, with that number still being Stardom's highest attendance at across Fukuoka. This, by the way, opening match, New Blood Tag Team Championships, 188 days Sakurara had held the belts, had only defended them once before this. This will be Motoi Hamabe's first challenge for the belt, and Kanai was a part of that first defense for Sakurara, where she was unsuccessful alongside Yuna Mizumori on the 3rd of February. And obviously, Hazuki Koguma, Maki Ito, and Maika all have their homecoming show here, and this match also marked the final appearance of her current Stardom tour for CMLL's Tabata. We open the show then, New Blood Tag Team Championships match. Saya Kurara, Aya Sakura, and Sayaka Kurara defeated Motoi Hamabe and Ann Kanai. Aya Sakura submitting Motoi Hamabe with the triangle choke in 17 minutes and 36 seconds.
4 stars.
Singles match, Xena defeated Emma Maishima with a German suplex in 6 minutes and 40 seconds.
3.25 stars.
6-woman tag team match next. The hate team of Natsuko Tora Ruaka and Azusa Inaba. They defeated Suzu Suzuki, Sioriano, and Waka Tsukiyama. Tora pinning Suzu with a Death Valley bomb in 6 minutes and 51 seconds.
3.25 stars.
Tomoka Inaba defeated Akira Kuragane in singles action, once again utilizing that Tomoka whirlwind leg. 7 minutes and 27 seconds, Matt.
4 stars.
Another singles match, Syuri seeing Tabata off back to Mexico by defeating her with the Suzaku in 8 minutes and 16 seconds.
4 stars.
6-woman tag Neo Genesis, Azumi, Starlight Kid, Miyu Wamasaki defeated Natsupoi, Yuna Mizumori, and Rian. Starlight Kid submitting Rian with the Black Tiger leg killer, 6 minutes and 22 seconds.
Rob, I really like this show. 4 stars.
10-woman tag semi-main, Hanan, Sayarida, Momokogo, Amisori, and Lady C defeated the Hate quintet of Saya Kamatani, Konami, Rina, Fukiken Death, and B. Priestley. Hannon rolling B. Priestley up with the 17 in 11 minutes and 1 second.
3 3/4 stars.
And then in your main event, 8-woman tag, Fukuoka Quadruple Crazy, Hazuki, Koguma, Maika, and Maki Ito defeated Fua-chan, Rani Agami, Hanako, and Kikyo Furusawa. Hazuki breaking out the Emerald Flosion on Fua-chan. This match went almost 26 minutes. This match went longer than Takumi Aroha and Sari. What were your thoughts, Matt?
4 stars.
So the first match we are going to talk about is that aforementioned New Blood Tag Team Championship match. Sakurura getting their second successful title defense against Ann and Matoi, obviously following this match, and tried to join Cosmic Angels, and then Aya Sakura was like, nah, not today. But a really, really, really good match. And again, just like we started when we were talking about these shows, we said what a spotlight Ankanai and Matoi Hamabe had against Starlight Kid and Mei Seira. Another fantastic spotlight here, given a load of time, 17 minutes as well to open this show. Fantastic match.
It's a big gamble. 17 minutes opening the show. It's not too long ago that Aya and Sayaka were in the spot that Ann and Matoi was. Like, it just only feels like last year.
It really does.
Like, okay, you're taking 17 minutes. Again, we know, Sakura is the red belt champion, but can she lead the younger wrestlers that have been wrestling a year or so, and to have this great match in a 17-minute opener? That's a big ask. And the crowd, not only was this great, again, 4 stars, Rob, but the crowd was so into this, like from the whole, and the crowd, even just listening to the crowd, there's the crowd psychology. You know, you're always going to be excited for match one. You're excited, you're amped up, you're ready to go. You got the champion here, you got Aya Sakura, you got Matoi, she's great and brings the energy, like you're ready to rock and roll. And then the crowd, it's a roller coaster. It goes up and down, exactly where you needed them to be. They had the crowd the entire match. They knew when to rest. They knew when to come back up. They knew when to do tag work. They knew when to do singles work. They knew when to break certain things down. And I knew the results of this match because I think I didn't watch it live. I watched, I think, later on in the day. And when Matoi had Aya in the armbar, and when they're counting down around like 15 minutes and 16 minutes, and I was like, I thought the Cosmic Angels duo won this match, but the way it was being built and Aya selling the armbar and the way that Aya and Matoi were going back and forth, I thought were terrific. Again, Aya and Sayaka are phenomenal as a tag team. Again, they did win the Goddess Tag League last year, but boy, Ann and Matoi, I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, they did a great job in this Golden Week tour, upping their stock. Again, it looks like Ann is going to go to Cosmic Angels. Matoi, again, I think she is a shoo-in for Neo Genesis. I think that'd be a great way for her to go. Again, this was great. The crowd was into it. 17 minutes, didn't feel like it.
No,
and again, the fact that this was just really terrific, and you have your New Blood Tag Team Champions leading 2 rookies to this great of a match, and again, Ann and Matoi really brought it. I love this match again, Rob. The crowd was really, they set the tone for here. And the rest of the show, they were on fire. And the main event was just another level because of the star power and the hometown power that they had. Again, 4 stars for me.
We then move on to Syuri and Tabata. It was a really nice touching moment, really, because Tabata has felt like a real part of the roster. Whereas, you have got people parachuting in for 5, 6 shows. This felt like a long tour. This felt like a real development phase for Tabata here. It's not the first time she's had a tour with Stardom. She had a brief tour, I think, at some point last year, and has come back for the tour here. And it was nice that, they made a big thing of this. She was given the shirt, had this match with Syuri, and I think overall, she's going back to Mexico a better wrestler than when she came, which is the whole point of these tours. And this right here, her final match, her best match of this tour, without a doubt.
Yeah, and it's really cool that it was Syuri, like, seeing her off in a positive way, because who's been a main eventer the longest for this company? It's got to be Syuri, right? She's been main eventer since, 2020? Sure. So, yeah, she's been the constant main eventer for the last 6 years. of this company. So it's just, and obviously the biggest ass kicker because she's legit, and Sherry. So that was really cool that even though Sherry did get the win, forcing Tabitha to tap out to via the Sazanka, that she was just like, hey, good fight. Here's your Stardom shirt. They gave her the brother discount, as Andy Header would say. Probably. I hope they didn't charge her. Hope it was like in the back, like, it's usually 20, give us 10. We'll
Yeah.
call it even. But they gave her the shirt, made her part of the family, and it looks like the door is open whenever the opportunity exists for Tabitha to come back in. Who wouldn't want to see her? I think this was her best match. This was her best outing. You had the Lucha style versus the Joshi Puro style. They made it work. Whenever Tabitha was using the Joshi style, Sherry would just getting ready to pick her spots and use that strong style, the kicks, the forearms, the code breakers. We got Tabitha coming back with the wheelbarrow German suplex. Great fire from Tabitha. That's the one thing we really didn't see in her tour is that fighting spirit, that fire, because she's been mostly in tag matches and here singles match with an ass kicker like Sherry. So you get towards the end, like you see really great fire. Not that we haven't seen it before, but not on this level because the opportunity in her matches didn't present itself, and it did here. So great fire towards the end. And Sherry really has to pour on like those strikes. She hits the big head kick, the Nagata lock, and then she transitions the Nagata lock into the grounded Sazanka for the tap. Again, I love this. I hope we see Tabitha back somewhere in a Stardom ring soon, or we have been seeing these Stardom wrestlers go over to CMLL. And I would love to see, any one of these wrestlers against Tabitha in an Arena Mexico match. Again, 4 stars for me. I thought this was terrific.
And then we have Fukuoka quadruple crazy. And we had Fuwa-chan against Hazuki, which was a real treat. We had Fuwa-chan pulling Hazuki's sort of pin face into the camera, which was really funny. I do just want to quickly point out, fantastic American accent on Fuwa-chan, like a unerringly great American accent when she was saying, "We are Stardom." But this show last year was a lot of fun when it was Hazuki Koguma and Micah. And if you remember, it was one of, if not the last show that Micah did before she went off with the big injury for rest and surgery on the elbow. And that was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun as well. It felt like everybody was just cutting back, relaxing, and having a very, very entertaining match.
Yeah, Fuwa-chan, I got to talk to her for a hot minute in Vegas, and her English is really good. And I know Andy Zyke on his podcast, by the way, free plug, Tokyo Joshi Pod, for new episodes every Friday. I think he was saying something that he did some research, and I think he said, I could be wrong, that Fuwa-chan is actually trilingual. So she knows multiple languages. Again, I only had a brief conversation with her. I'm like, boy, her English is better than mine. Not saying so. I've only been living in this country for almost, it'll be 44 years in 2 weeks, by the way, folks. But what was really cool about this is you had not only the Fukuoka team, you had them up against their tag partners, Maika, Hanako, Maki Ito, Kikyo. And then you had Hazuki and Fuwa-chan. And I'm like, what's with Kagama and Rana? They don't team up. I'm like, I forgot Rana hates the bear dance.
She does.
But who hates the bear dance more than Rana? Sherry. And Sherry comes out, and this was so great. Sherry comes out, she's like, no, we're not doing. Then out of nowhere, Kagama just baseball slides Sherry. I thought that was so fun. Like you had the single entrances, which was really cool. You had some comedy, you had some teamwork, you had some triple teamwork. Obviously, FWC is the constant tag team here. And then we get like Fuwa-chan's getting a little ahead of herself. She decides to do the face washes to Hazuki. And Rob, there's a receipt coming. And it's going to come. And boy, how he did it. I mean, Hazuki just belts the crap out of Fuwa-chan here with those forearms, Suzuki mode, the face washes, just really fun stuff there. Great towards the end. They had this great long, almost all Japan 90s big tag match style waterfalls and falls. Like everybody hits something. And then we get the tag stuff. And then that's not enough. And then you get the FWC dive and it builds and builds and builds. But they built it with selling and timing and pacing and psychology. That's why I got 26 minutes, because I think it was like, hey, we can hit this, this, and this, but we got time to tell the story. So let's space it out and focus a little bit more on selling, which I thought was great. There was a lot of times I thought this match was going to be over. And then Hanako would break up a pinfall, or Rana would break up a pinfall. Rana and Hazuki, that's a match I definitely want to see. A lot of violence there. But ultimately, Hazuki, everybody beats up Fuwa-chan. Like Fuwa eats the she eats the FWC powerbomb neckbreaker combination. Maki Ito does that running double stomp, and then Micah hits the huge sliding lariat, and then Hazuki hits the senton little stiffsky on that senton, Rob, going little stiffsky on that senton. And then Fuachan kicks out. It gets broken up, I believe, by Hanako. And then you get the other members of Fukuoka quadruple crazy, as I guess we're calling them. Gets rid of Rana, Hanako, and Kikyo Furusawa. And then Hazuki's like, yeah, I'm going to go to my nuclear finish, the Emerald Frozen, because why not? Putting away Fuachan, a really fun match. 4 stars for me. Ultimately, just a really great show. This was easily the other shows were really fun. This was easily my favorite show of the tour. Like, they ended with a bang. They really, really did.
Yeah, they did. It was fantastic. Really, really enjoyable show and 3 really, really good matches. And actually, we could have talked about 4 or 5 matches on this card. The semi-main was really good as well. But for the sake of speed, we wanted to highlight 3. But yeah, the main event, I think, was one of the most enjoyable shows of this tour, alongside the main event from Kumamoto. But yeah, as a show, as a whole package, the show from Fukuoka is definitely the show that I would suggest going out of your way to check out. Just before we go on to the sadly named now just EO Watch, just a reminder that we have got 2 shows coming up from Stardom. They have got a week off next week, so whether there will be a Stardom cast, I don't think there will be. Pardon me, because the next show isn't until the 16th, and then we've got the doubleheader 16th in Gunma, 17th in Korakuen Hall. Just a reminder, 2 title matches at Korakuen Hall announced so far. Yuna Mizumori versus Xena for the high-speed title, and of course that aforementioned Artist of Stardom Championship match between Rina, Konami, and Fukigen Death, the champions, against the Stars trio of Hanan, Momokogo, and Saya Ida. Matt, it's time for EO Watch.
You redid the graphic. That's the Mania we were at.
It is the Mania we were at. Yes.
There you go. You softened the blow, buddy. Yeah, I appreciate. You know your podcast co-host. Looks beautiful. Look at EO. She's so happy. Big shout out to my main man Darren Chatton for giving me time cues. Always love Darren. Darren did tell me that his team is above your team in the league.
God's sake!
Now, actually, he didn't actually come. I actually had to ask him. We were having this general conversation. I was like, "Hey, is the league still going?" And he's like, "Yes, my team's above Rob." So I was like, "I will definitely bring that up."
Wasn't even prompted. It was just a question about football. He just slipped it in. Okay, Darren, you're better than me. Okay, I know, Darren. Do you not think I know? I know, Darren.
Who's higher in the predictions right now? You or Darren?
Darren hasn't predicted anything yet.
So 0. You're up. There you go. So there you go. Boom. At least you're showing up to the fight. What's up, Rob? Yeah,
I'm
double bicep.
Losing every week, but I am there.
You're showing up. That's half the battle. Anywho, so we're actually going back to Monday Night Raw 2 weeks ago. Because you remember, Rob, we have not had a Stardom cast in quite some time because we did the live All-Star Grand Queendom. So we go to Monday Night Raw back in the month of April, literally the day after All-Star Grand Queendom, as Becky Lynch comes out and she has an open challenge. Who answers it? One, EO. EO answers the open challenge. EO slaps Becky, and then Becky basically forearms EO in the back. Here we go. Match is on. EO Joshi dropkick. And then Becky comes back with a clothesline. We do have Becky hitting a Beck-sploder that sends EO to the floor. Becky follows up with a baseball slide, then an apron forearm. Back into the ring we go. EO comes back with a palm strike, a German suplex, a back fist. Very similar to the Cutlass, Rob. I was like, oh, don't know if I've seen that. Maybe challenging one Kyrie there. And then EO hits a top rope Joshi dropkick for a 2 count. EO then goes for the moonsault, but Becky Lynch stops the moonsault, pulls EO off the top rope, hits a reverse DDT. Shout out to the Stinger, which, by the way, the Stinger was on AEW this week. That scores Becky a 2 count. EO counters the manhandle slam, which is her version of the rock bottom, with a Quesador double stomp. Just genius stuff here for EO. This was a really great match, by the way. After the Quesador double stomp, Becky Lynch tries to retreat to the apron, but EO hits the sunset flip bomb off the apron to the floor, because why not? It's EO. EO goes to the top rope, but then Becky stops her. We get Becky with the superplex and a DDT combination for a 2 count. EO comes back with this super kick that it was just like, yeah, I've seen Mayu throw these a little dangerous. I'm going to throw mine a little dangerous. This was Mayu Natsupoi level dangerous super kick that EO just plants on one Becky Lynch. That was great. And then Io hits a double underhook backbreaker and a tornado DDT. Io goes to the top rope for the moonsault, but Becky gets the feet up. Becky then hits the manhandle slam, but Io kicks out a 2.9 and the crowd explodes. Like they were into this match, but like once Io kicked out of the manhandle slam, everyone thought that we're going to see a title change here because Becky hit her finish, couldn't put Io away. Crowd's going really, really hot here. Io winds up sending Becky to the floor with a drop kick. Io hits the perfect Ase moonsault. Io throws Becky into the ring, Rob. However, here comes Asuka, comes in, jumps Io, and then throws Io back in the ring for Becky to hit the second manhandle slam for the 3 count. 4.25 stars. This was really good. Take the time to watch this. I know there's been a lot of great wrestling, especially women's wrestling, over the last few weeks. This was phenomenal. Really great stuff. That takes us to Monday Night Raw this past week. We just have a video package hyping up Io versus Asuka, which will be this Saturday for Backlash. So I will be seated for that. And the rumors, Rob, that one Kyrie may return. I don't know if it's a return full-time to WWE or it's a return to finish the story that we have with Io and Asuka and Kyrie. So we shall find out. Again, I think if Kyrie does show up, I think it's only just to finish the story, but it could be something where they offer her another contract. I don't know. I don't know much. All I know is I really enjoy wrestling and really enjoying what Io is doing over there in the World Wrestling Entertainment professional wrestling company.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are out. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We truly appreciate every single one of you. We are wherever you get your podcast app. So if you think we've earned it, a 5-star review and a comment on the episode really helps with engagement. Completely free way to help out the podcast as well. We are literally everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and all of those good places. Go and check us out there. Patreon.com/World of Joshi for a whole host of bonus content, as well as the whole podcast archive ad-free for as little as $1 a month, as well as joining in our predictions league as well, which is really heating up, partly because I'm 4th and I'm really happy and it's the highest I'm going to get. So if you want your chance to beat the Gerpster, feel free. Step on up is what I will say. Otherwise, you can find us on social media at WOJ Wrestling. Matt Turner. You can find me at Real Rob Goodwin. Where can they find you? And sign us off, good sir.
Questions, comments, suggestions, Matt Turner OF on the Instagram and the Twitter is the easiest, fastest, and bestest way to get a hold of me. Or guys, you can shoot me an email, matt@worldofjoshi.com, as well as the StardomCast22@gmail.com. Folks, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. We greatly appreciate your support. Can't do it without you, because like I always say, it's just not my podcast. It's our podcast. Because when we're all together and everybody's different, everybody's special.